Hello, my dear friends, dear viewers. I welcome you all with the Islamic greetings. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. And it is a moment of great honor and immense privilege for me, Tufail Haji, the Faculty of English from KS, to introduce a program for students of class 11 under the name of Finishing Touch. Yes, friends. KS initiated it with a wonderful program for the NEET aspirants under the title of Finishing Touch, and under the dynamic supervision and chairmanship of Dr. Saddam, it moved forward in almost all the subjects for students of class 12 and now for students of class 11. Remember, dear friends, the subject that normally students don't take that seriously is English, and it is the subject that carries equal number of marks for the exams. When we are talking of board exams coming up in November, if at all they happen, this is going to be a crucial factor for students of class 11th in getting that great percentage that is ultimately required as a morale booster for the careers ahead. Dear friends, I welcome you to this wonderful and prized initiative in terms of English, and in this capsule, which is going to stretch for 4 to 5 hours, we shall be talking about different capsules. We shall be talking about different areas that this year's English paper shall be divided into. And mind you, we have been suffering hard since article abrogation in August, remember, 2019. And then the last nail was hit in the coffin by the COVID pandemic, from which we are still not out. All of you have been under great trauma, under great stress because of these catastrophic situations that have arisen out of circumstances. But then when the going gets tough, the tough get going. And we are here. KS is here with this wonderful and amazing initiative for the students of class 11. Remember, we have got 100 marks this year for English, and the textbooks are completely new. All of you must be knowing that we have got Hornbill and Snapshots as the textbooks, and then we have got some more elements in the paper that we are expected to discuss. May I tell you that we have got out of the textbooks, we have got the reading comprehension part, that will be section A of your story, and then we have got writing skills and grammar, from where we have different things to do, and then we will have the literature section. So, dear friends, without wasting much of your time, we go ahead. Without wasting the time, I would like to inform you, my dear students, that we have 3 sections for the subject English. Mind you, 20 marks will be awarded for internal assessment. Therefore, we are targeting those 80 marks. 80 plus 20 obviously would be 100. That is there. But then sections that this paper will be divided into are section A. So first of all, we move straight away to section A. In section A, my dear students, we have the reading comprehension that carries 20 marks. The reading comprehension carries 20 marks for you. Now the question is, what will be asked in this reading comprehension? The first thing that will be asked in this reading comprehension will be based on one important thing that's called note making. So, before we move any further, we'll start these concepts related to note making, and that note making will carry, my dear friends, the 5 marks for you, and then we will have one unseen passage, and that is going to be based on summarization, and then you will have one unseen passage, and that will have 5 objective type questions and 5 multiple choice questions, and they will be based on different things like word formation, synonyms, antonyms, inferences, that is going to be asked from that unseen passage. याद रखें कि अगर स्टूडेंट फोकस्ड तरीके से काम करें, अगर एक प्रैक्टिकल स्ट्रेटजी के साथ काम करें, तो ये पेपर जो है it is going to make you score quite high. But then you have to work as per a plan, you have to work as per a strategy. So conceptual part जो भी है इसमें, grammar है, writing skills हैं, obviously those things which require attention, that is poetry, those are the important things that I'll be covering up in this whole capsule, and that is going to help you to get to that important figure of 95 plus, or most probably 100 marks in English if the focus is on the dot. So the first thing that we shall be talking about from this section will be note making. And in order to read about note making, I must tell you that there are two concepts. One is note taking and another is note making. Important बातें मैं इस कैप्सूल में आपके साथ डिस्कस करूंगा, so that आपके लिए बड़ा आसान हो जाए चेक करना कि which part should I attempt from the paper. I'll try to make it quite simple, quite easy for you, so that even though you may not have given a lot of attention to English earlier, but this should be mighty helpful for you to cover those marks, especially in terms of writing skills and grammar. आपको पता है कि prose जो है, it is something that is based on stories and anecdotes, and those prose stories can be taken care of. That should not be a big deal. Obviously, in this 4-5 hour interactive session, I am not going to teach you all prose or all poetry, but what I'm going to strike at is, I'll be striking at all those important areas which will help you to cover most of the syllabus in English comfortably. Therefore, be very attentive, make sure that you don't miss out this all important interactive session and take the benefit of this prized initiative. हम पढ़ रहे हैं note making और note taking. मैंने पहले ही बोला, there are two concepts. One is note taking, another is note making. आपने सुना भी होगा, note can be taken, note can be made. आपके सिलेबस में note making रखा गया है. But you must know what is note making and note taking. Note taking की जहां बात आती है, so note taking जब भी कोई बोले note taking, it's listening comprehension. जो आपके सिलेबस में रखा ही नहीं गया है, note taking refers to listening comprehension. आपने बहुत बार देखा होगा, जो जर्नलिस्ट होते हैं या जो प्रेस रिपोर्टर्स होते हैं, उनके हाथों में छोटे छोटे नोट पैड्स होते हैं, प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस लगी होती है, और उसके बाद जो स्पीकर्स होते हैं वो बोल रहे होते हैं, और यहां से ये अपने नोट पैड्स पे शॉर्ट हैंड में पॉइंट्स जॉट डाउन कर रहे होते हैं. एट दैट टाइम दे स्ट्रिक्टली डिपेंड ऑन व्हाट इज बीइंग सेड, or they strictly depend on their listening skill. How well do they listen? कितनी बारीक बीनी के साथ वो listen करते हैं. उस listened stuff को वो छोटे छोटे points में jot down करते हैं. और जब आप किसी information को listen करके, सुन के, छोटे छोटे points में convert करके jot down करें, उन नोट्स को ऑब्वियसली आप मेक नहीं करते, आप उस नोट्स को टेक करते. Sometimes the teachers also deliver lectures, and they don't use the board. They just keep on speaking and speaking. They just impart those important, meaningful bits of information, and you listen to that stuff. After listening to those lectures, you just jot down the important points, and at that time you are not making the notes. At that time you are taking the notes. बहरहाल हमें नोट टेकिंग के साथ इस वक्त कुछ नहीं करना. We are focused on note making. Now, note making की जब बात आती है, it is based on reading comprehension. यहां पे आप सभी गौर से देखेंगे कि हम क्या बताना चाहते हैं. It's based on reading comprehension. आपके मन में सवाल आता होगा कि what is comprehension? Comprehension means understanding of a thing, understanding of a passage. आपके सामने एक पैसेज आएगा और आपको उस पैसेज उसको पढ़ना है, यू हैव टू रीड दैट पैसेज आउट thoroughly, you have to read that passage out, और उसके बाद उस बड़े से पैसेज जो लगभग 300 वर्ड्स का पैसेज होगा, you have to make notes out of it. Now notes बनाने के लिए जो सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट बात आपको याद रखनी है कि you have to convert an ocean into a pond. That means you have to convert bigger chunks of information into smaller bits of information. नोट पे लिखा है, इनफैक्ट पैसेज पे लिखा है that William Shakespeare, the Bard of Avon, was born in the year 1564 at a place called Stratford at Avon, and he breathed his last in the year 1616. So this is a long strain of information. This is a long line of information. Examiner क्या चाहता है? Examiner चाहता है कि आप इस bigger chunk of information को smaller bits में convert करें. So I can do what? What I can do is I can do like this. मैं क्या कर सकता हूं? मैं इस इंफॉर्मेशन को ऐसे लिख सकता हूं. ऊपर लिखूंगा विलियम शेक्सपियर. That is the title of my note. अगर आपको पता चला पढ़ के कि ये टाइटल जो है, ये नोट जो है, ये पैसेज जो है, इट इज बेस्ड ऑन विलियम शेक्सपियर, ये विलियम शेक्सपियर के बारे में लिखा गया है, तो ऑब्वियसली यू विल हैव टू फाइंड द टाइटल फर्स्ट, एंड द टाइटल इज विलियम शेक्सपियर. टाइटल ढूंढने के लिए बोला जाता है कि आपको पैसेज को पूरी तरह से छांट के पढ़ना पड़ेगा. देयर आर सम स्टूडेंट्स जिनको पैसेज पढ़ने में, अंडरस्टैंड करने में 2 टर्न्स लग सकती हैं. देयर आर स्टूडेंट्स उनको एक ही टर्न में क्लियर हो जाएगा व्हाट द पैसेज इज ऑल अबाउट. देयर आर स्टूडेंट्स जिनको 3 बार भी पैसेज पढ़ना पड़ेगा इन ऑर्डर टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इज बेसिकली the message that is conveyed and carried by the passage. Depends on students' reading sense and reading expertise. Depends on the students' reading skill. आपकी रीडिंग स्किल कितनी अच्छी है, आप उस पैसेज को कितनी बारीक बीनी के साथ, इन्फ्रेंसेस के साथ अंडरस्टैंड कर सकते हैं. Suppose this passage is based on William Shakespeare, और आपको इस टाइटल को ढूंढने के लिए नॉर्मली देखा गया है कि the title, the caption of the passage is normally found in the very beginning of the passage. In some cases it can be found in the middle, and in rare cases we find the title of the passage towards the end. अब हमें मैक्सिमम जो पैसेज आज तक देखे गए हैं उनमें देखा गया है कि पहली ही 2-4 लाइंस में पैसेज जो है उसका टाइटल जो है वो निकल सकता है, और आपको पता चला कि पैसेज इज बेस्ड ऑन विलियम शेक्सपियर एंड हिज लाइफ. सो टाइटल बन गया विलियम शेक्सपियर, अंडरलाइन कर लिया आपने पेज के मिडिल में. उसके बाद पहला लाइन जो मैंने अभी आपको सुनाया, विलियम शेक्सपियर द बार्ड ऑफ एवन, एंड देन ही वाज बोर्न इन द ईयर 1564, एंड देन ही डाइड इन द ईयर 1616, एंड ही वाज बोर्न एट अ प्लेस कॉल्ड स्ट्रेटफोर्ड एट एवन. ये बड़ी सी इंफॉर्मेशन जो है इसको आपको बिट्स में कन्वर्ट करना है. यू विल राइट विलियम शेक्सपियर बोर्न 1564, died 1616, brackets Stratford at Avon. Famously called या famously named, जिसको आप सॉब्रिक्यू भी कहते हैं, एक निक नेम जिनका बोला जाता है, या एक फेमस नेम जो होता है, दैट इज बार्ड ऑफ एवन. नाउ सी, ये जो आपने इंफॉर्मेशन लिख ली यहां पे, दीज आर बिट्स ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन, और इन बिट्स ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन, इन फ्रेगमेंट्स ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन को लिखने के लिए आपको छोटे छोटे अब्रिविएशंस की, शॉर्ट फॉर्म्स की जरूरत पड़ेगी. यू कैन यूज एक्सेप्टेबल अब्रिविएशंस लाइक एटसेट्रा को लिखने के लिए ईटीसी, फॉर एग्जाम्पल को लिखने के लिए ईजी. इसी तरह से आप विज लिख सकते हैं, गवर्नमेंट के बदले GOVT डॉट, इसी तरह से रजिस्टर्ड के बदले REGD, इसी तरह से मैथमेटिकल सिंबल्स का यूज कर सकते हैं. नाउ फीट के बदले FT. इसी तरह से यू कैन यूज डिफरेंट सिंबल्स एंड साइंस टू make the passage concise and to make the note very very precise and clinically accurate. और इस चीज के लिए आपको कुछ और भी चाहिए, दैट इज यू हैव टू क्रिएट सम हेडिंग्स एंड सब हेडिंग्स इन अ नोट. यू हैव नॉट टू राइट लॉन्ग सेंटेंसेस. अक्सर स्टूडेंट्स ने क्या करते हैं, अक्सर एग्जाम्स में वो नोट इस पैसेज से ही कुछ लाइंस निकालते हैं, इंपॉर्टेंट लाइंस, फिर उनको 1 2 3 4 5 करके 5-6 लाइंस लिखते हैं और बोलते हैं हमने नोट बनाया. दैट इज नॉट ए नोट. नोट जो है इसको एब्जॉर्ब करना है, पहले पैसेज को एब्जॉर्ब करना है, उसके बाद इसको अंडरस्टैंड और कॉम्प्रिहेंड करके आपको रिप्रोड्यूस करना है इन द फॉर्म ऑफ स्मॉल फ्रेगमेंट्स एंड बिट्स. जितना ये नोट कॉम्पैक्ट हो, कंसाइज हो, फ्रेगमेंटेड हो, उतना ये नोट इफेक्टिव होगा. मोर इंपॉर्टेंटली यू हैव नॉट टू यूज एंड इंक्लूड अननेसेसरी इंफॉर्मेशन. मैं आपको क्लास में भी अक्सर बोलता रहता हूं कि जब नोट बनाना हो तो एक संतरे को ले लो, ऑरेंज एक, उसको पूरी तरह से जोर से स्क्वीज करो, जो जूस बाउल में जमा हो जाएगा दैट इज योर नोट, और जो आपके हाथ में रह गया दैट इज टू बी सेंट आउट to the world of the dustbin. That is why we say that note making is a skill. You have to eliminate whatever is unnecessary from the passage and you have to include only whatever is crucial and important. जब एग्जामिनर आपका नोट देखेगा, इन छोटे छोटे बिट्स ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन को कलेक्ट करेगा, वो इन तमाम बिट्स को इलैबोरेट अकाउंट में ढूंढेगा पैसेज की सूरत में. Therefore, if in the note it is written that the school is situated on the national highway near the exchange, the telephone exchange. Now, ये situated जो आपने word देख लिया, उससे आपको heading मन में आनी चाहिए location. इसी तरह से there can be different headings that you can create, subheading. Suppose my grandfather is 70 years old या 70 years of age, heading बन गई age, and you can write age 70 YRS. This is the concise and precise way of writing a fragmented account when we talk of note making. छोटे छोटे बिट्स में लिखना है और मेन सेंटेंसेस को निकाल के उनका रस जो है, उनका क्रक्स जो है, उनका जिस जो है, उनकी मैसेज जो है, उसको एक शॉर्ट फॉर्म में विद द हेल्प ऑफ एब्रिविएशंस कंसाइज अकाउंट में पेश करना. एंड देन यू कैन मेक श्योर दैट जो भी आपने नोट में लिखा that is found ultimately in the passage. The examiner will check your note and then he will try to find the elaborate account of this note in the form of a passage. Remember, इस नोट का जो expanded form होगा, वो expanded form जो है that is the passage. And therefore, examiner will see both the things. He'll have a look at the passage, he will at the same time have a look at your note, and he will try to find out whether the student has included all the meaningful information that was present in the passage and has the student put that information in the form of a note on or not. That is what the examiner will look for. तो इस मामले में आपको मैं ये टिप दूंगा कि आप मेहरबानी करके पैसेज को अच्छे से पढ़ेंगे और उसके बाद उसके जो मीनिंगफुल पार्ट्स होंगे उनको अंडरलाइन करेंगे और उन अंडरलाइंड पार्ट्स को फिर कन्वर्ट करेंगे इनटू बिट्स. व्हाई डू वी मेक अ नोट? दैट इज एब्सोल्युटली समथिंग दैट एवरीवन शुड नो. वी मेक अ नोट in order to make a big thing a small thing. One. Number two, brevity is the soul of wit. जितना कोई चीज छोटी हो, to the point हो, accurate हो, clinical हो, precise हो, उतनी ही वो चीज इफेक्टिव हो जाती है. Therefore, that is why you have to make a note. It saves your time, it saves your energy, and more importantly, it helps you retain the information. तभी हम नोट जो है वो बनाते हैं. Therefore, a passage you will have and you will have to read that passage. इसमें examiner आपका comprehension test करेगा and then accordingly the examiner will see whether you make proper headings, proper title, if you give a good title to the note, and then you write in sequence the points. You can use the numbering, you can use 1 2 3 4, you can use A B C D, you can use the Roman script, whatever. I mean to say, in terms of numbering, headings, subheadings, you can create, and accordingly, you have to make sure that you avoid long sentences and you write fragments, only bits, only hints, indications you have to write. Therefore, suppose if I look at this point, born 1564, died 1616, Stratford-at-Avon, England, famously named Bard of Avon. Now, if I elaborate this account, obviously I will have Shakespeare. William Shakespeare was born in the year 1564 and he died in the year 1616 at Stratford-at-Avon in England. He was famously known as the Bard of Avon. That is how we can convert a bit's information into a meaningfully long streak of information. That is how we convert a note into a big account, into a passage, and that's how we go back from the passage and form a note of it. I hope it's absolutely clear, and I will be giving you some samples also in my notes capsule, in which you can find different passages and then the notes made accordingly and properly. I hope that these 5 marks should be with you when you approach your examination. We go back and we have one more thing, that is summarization. इसके भी 5 marks. Summarization, summary has to be understood. What is a summary? Summarization means when it's almost a cousin of note making. But then note making में हम छोटे छोटे bits का use करते हैं, whereas in summarization you convert big sentences into small sentences. Now, what is the way to do that? I'll tell you what is the way to do that. How can we summarize? When we talk of summarization, how can we do that? I tell you, in summarization, जो lengthy expressions होते हैं, long expressions, we convert them into one word expressions. Suppose one who has got intelligence. One who has got intelligence. These are 5 words. A person who has a lot of intelligence. We can convert that expression into a one word, that is intelligent. A person who murders his mother is called matricide. Similarly, there are so many expressions which are long and lengthy, and you can convert them into one word expressions. A person who is a lover of mankind, we call that person as philanthropist. Similarly, a person who is involved in someone's murder and helps out the murderer, we call that person as accomplice. Therefore, you have to have good range of vocabulary to ensure that you can summarize a passage. तो passage में क्या होगा? उस passage में बहुत सारी expressions जो होंगी वो लंबी होंगी, और एग्जामिनर ये चेक करेगा कि क्या ये स्टूडेंट इन लंबे एक्सप्रेशंस को, उनकी मीनिंग को सफर करवाने के बगैर एक छोटे एक्सप्रेशन में कन्वर्ट कर पाएगा कि नहीं. Once again, my dear friends, this is the test of your vocabulary. This is the test of your grammatical structures. आप कैसे एक sentence को squeeze करके पेश करेंगे. जैसे मैंने अभी बोला, brevity is the soul of wit. That means you have to use minimum words, but you have to have a maximum effect on the reader, on the listener. That is how you have to summarize. When we write the summary of the poem, summary लिखते वक्त हम क्या करते हैं? We ensure that जो poem के main areas है, जो main focus है उसका, उस poem का, जो nuts and bolts है, जिनको हम अंग्रेजी में बोलते हैं the bare bones, जो main ideas है, main areas हैं, उनको हम लिखते हैं, बाकियों को हम छोड़ देते हैं। देयरफॉर समराइजेशन में क्या आपको करना है, आपको रेड्यूस करनी है लेंथ एंड स्ट्रेंथ ऑफ दैट पैसेज, एंड यू हैव टू राइट द मेन आइडिया इन योर ओन वर्ड्स। मेक श्योर you don't just take the words out from the passage and write them down. Normally students क्या करते हैं, वो वहां से words उठा के लिखते हैं। सपोज लाइंस 10 थी, उसमें से 2-4 लाइंस निकाली, एक्सट्रैक्ट करी और उसके बाद उन्हें बोला कि ये समरी हो गई। No, this will not carry any impact nor will it carry any marks. What you have to do is once again, हम पढ़ रहे हैं section 1 reading comprehension, और इसमें क्या एग्जामिनर चाहेगा कि क्या आपको ये अनसीन पैसेज समझ आ गया है, इसके जो वर्ड्स हैं क्या आपको समझ आ गए हैं इन टर्म्स ऑफ इट्स मीनिंग, कि जो कंक्लूजन्स इस पैसेज में है क्या आप उनको इन्फर कर पाए हैं, उनको डिडक्ट कर पाए हैं, तो डिड्यूस कर पाए हैं, देन ओनली विल यू बी एबल टू समराइज। ऑब्वियसली छोटा बनेगा तब, बड़े का छोटा तब बनेगा जब किसी इंसान को बड़ा पार्ट समझ आ जाएगा। Therefore, from word 1 till word last, you have to understand the passage so that you can get out the main ideas, the main thoughts from the passage, and then put them on paper in your simple lucid words. और मैं आपको बताना चाहता हूं कि जो एम्युनिशन आपके पास होना चाहिए, that is vocabulary. It's unfortunate that students nowadays do not focus on reading so much because of the fact that we have been too much engrossed with the phones, and we even do not find time to read a newspaper. We don't have patience enough to read an article from the newspaper. That is why the students are having poor vocabulary, and that's why the skills are very very ignored. Unfortunately हमारा जो सिलेबस हुआ करता था उस पे स्किल्स के बारे में कम पूछा जाता था, लेकिन अब जबकि एक नया पैटर्न आ गया है, एक नई बुक आ गई है, एक नया मैटर आ गया है, इस मैटर में मोर फोकस जो है दैट्स ऑन स्किल्स. And that is why I consider it very important for students to take English very very seriously right from the grassroots level. You just cannot ignore it because it's purely skill based now. अब वो जमाना गया जहां पे आप 10-15 क्वेश्चंस याद करके जाते थे तो 80-90 मार्क्स लाते थे. अब वो जमाना है जहां पे अब आपको अपनी क्रिएटिविटी और अपनी क्रिएटिव स्किल्स का इजहार करना है. यू हैव टू एग्जिबिट दोज स्किल्स, अदरवाइज आई एम सॉरी माय डियर फ्रेंड्स, यू विल नॉट बी एबल टू गेट things under control when we talk of English as a subject in your class 11th and 12th. Therefore, summarization once again, छोटा करना है, स्क्वीज्ड फॉर्म में लिखना है, सब्स्टिट्यूशन ऑफ वर्ड्स जो है वो राइट करना है, अननेसेसरी वर्ड्स जो हैं, अननेसेसरी वर्ब्स जो हैं उनको हटाना है, एक सेंटेंस को रिफ्रेम करना है, रिफ्रेज करना है. रिफ्रेम और रिफ्रेज करने का मतलब आपको उसकी लेंथ को कम करने के लिए राइट और अप्रोप्रिएट वर्ड्स का यूज करना है, एंड देन ओनली यू कैन फाइंड द समराइजेशन पॉसिबल माय डियर फ्रेंड्स in the examination. Please, please, please do not take out the same lines out from the passage and then you write them down on paper and then you say that you have summarized. This is not the way. You have to get the ideas out, thoughts out, and then present those thoughts in your own smart, sweet, and scintillating way, attractive way. You must have good fund of vocabulary, good fund of words with you in order to present your ideas. That's what the examiner will try to look for. That's what will give you marks, my dear friends. Otherwise, it will be just a futile exercise. Some notes with summarizations will be given to you. Go through them quickly, go through them, understand them properly, read them steadily, and make sure that you have got the way out when we come to summarization of different passages. We move forward, we go back. That was the first part. In fact, the second part from section A, हमने note making के बारे में थोड़ा hint हासिल कर लिए, हमने summarization के बारे में hint हासिल कर लिए. मैं आपको बताऊं 5 और 5 मार्क्स 10 मार्क्स आपको पहले ही सेक्शन में मिल जाएंगे. Then we talk of unseen passage followed by 5 objective type questions. आपने एक चीज कॉमन देख ली होगी माय डियर फ्रेंड्स, दैट इज unseen passage, unseen passage और unseen passage. Normally we have seen matter, और जो हमारे पुराने पेपर पैटर्न हुआ करते थे, we had seen stuff. But this time around, there is a Himalayan change, and the change is that you'll be given the unseen mat. और ये पैसेज कहीं से भी निकाला जाएगा, और इस पैसेज की डिफरेंट स्ट्रेंथ ऑफ वोकैबुलरी होगी. नाउ इमेजिन, जिस बच्चे को वोकैबुलरी कमजोर है, वो बच्चा जो है इसमें बड़ा सफर करेगा. और उस एतबार से मैं समझता हूं कि यू हैव टू गिव सम मोर अटेंशन towards your English studies. Please do not wait for the date sheet. You just have half an hour, at least an hour, at least a day in your timetable, whereby you read a different thing. You build your vocabulary, you build your verb bank, you build your grammar series, you build your writing skills, you think about different topics, you read about social issues, because the skills that are going to be tested will be very, very severe. You have got 20 marks from reading comprehension, and then you have got 30 marks for writing skills and grammar. That's going to be coming next, and that means 50 marks will be based on absolute skills, complete skills. There is no room for any mugging, there is no room for any cramming, there is no room for any gota that we normally do in the exams. No room for that, my dear students. Therefore, 5 and 5 marks. Once again, we have unseen passage that will be followed by 5 objective type questions. Now, the objective type questions, what sort of questions आप सोच रहे होंगे, sir, कौन से questions जो है हमें पूछे जा सकते हैं? When we talk of objective type questions, my dear friends, it can be based on grammar. Like, let us see, it can be based on, like, suppose आपको passage में एक word है, and that word the examiner will try to know what is the antonym of that word. यानी कि इस वर्ड का एंटोनिम क्या है. You must be knowing synonyms and antonyms. Synonyms are the words which are similar in meaning, and antonyms are the words that are opposite in meaning. That is, suppose we have a word that's friend. Now, friend एक word है, इसका जो enemy, इसका जो opposite word है, जो इसका antonym है, that is foe or enemy. इसका जो synonym है, that is ally. Or you can find one more word, comrade. इसका जो verb form है, that is befriend. इस friend का जो adjective form है, that is friendly. इस फ्रेंड का जो एक और नाउन है, एब्स्ट्रैक्ट नाउन, दैट इज फ्रेंडशिप. Therefore, you have word friend जिसके इर्द गिर्द बहुत कुछ पूछा जा सकता है. You can be asked to write the synonym of this word, you can be asked to write the antonym of this word, you can be asked to use this word in a sentence, you can be asked to give the adjectival form of the word, the adverbial form of the word. That is how a multiple choice question can come, or a 1 mark question can come from the passage. Once again, अगर देखा जाए तो it all depends on comprehension. That means आप एक पैसेज को, एक अनसीन पैसेज को थॉट की बुनियाद पे, अंडरस्टैंडिंग की बुनियाद पे, और उसके बाद उसकी वर्डिंग की बुनियाद पे, उसके स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ सेंटेंसेस की बुनियाद पे कैसे एनालाइज करते हो. It's all based on thoughts and facts and details regarding the grammar, the relevance of ideas, the conclusions. ये तमाम चीजें जो है इस पैसेज में देखेंगी, आप देखेंगे, और आपको ये एग्जामिनर बताएगा कि आप इस वर्ड के बारे में, या इस सेंटेंस की रेफरेंस के बारे में, या उस आइडिया की रेफरेंस के बारे में आप क्या जानते हैं, आपने क्या समझा. Therefore, once again, my dear friends, depends on your understanding of the passage, reading of the passage thoroughly, और उसके बाद word bank. Once again I would impress upon all of you to build your vocabulary. अपने आप की vocabulary strong कर लीजिए, अपने ग्रामर स्ट्रक्चर स्ट्रॉन्ग कर लीजिए, ज्यादा पढ़ने की आदत कर लीजिए, लेटर्स, एसेज, सोशल इवल्स, टॉपिक्स, इन पे पढ़ने की कोशिश करिए, और मोर इंपॉर्टेंटली ट्राई टू एनालाइज, इंप्रूव योर क्रिटिकल एंड लॉजिकल थिंकिंग. व्हाई इज दिस हैपनिंग दिस वे? ये वर्ड जो है, what are the areas I can have this word? What is the web chart of this word? Beautiful is an adjective. Beautifully is the verb. Beautify is the what's called the verb. Beautifully is the adverb. Beautiful is the adjective. Beautification is the noun. Beauty sleep is a collocation which we can use. I mean to say, beauty can be attached with sleep and it becomes beauty sleep. Therefore, whatever is around the word, you have to find that out. Therefore, it's not going to be that easy as it looks. Once again, my dear friends, you have to look into very minute areas when we talk of a passage. तो ये चीजें जो है, ये हमें section A में मिल जाएंगी. We'll have the note making part, we'll have the summarizing part. Similarly, we'll have the unseen passage followed by 5 objective questions. और वो objective questions कहां से होंगे? वो होंगे obviously passage. Suppose passage में लिखा होगा that Shakespeare wrote a few dramas and a few comedies, a few tragedies and a few comedies. You know, tragedies talk of death and destruction, comedies talk of what's called laughters and fun. Now the question will be that piece of writing or that drama that discusses laughter and fun is called, and then you have to find that out from the passage, it's called a comedy. Othello is a dash, comedy or tragedy. Obviously that will be categorized under tragedies. Passage में सब कुछ लिखा होगा, लेकिन important आपके लिए आपको बहुत ही गौर से पैसेज को पढ़ना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि यू हैव टू मेक श्योर दैट एक सेंटेंस का डीप सेंस क्या है. समटाइम्स यू मेक हेस्ट एंड आउट ऑफ haste you can make a mistake. That's why we say hurry makes bad curry, haste makes waste. वो जल्दबाजी आपको नहीं करनी. You have to make sure that you understand the nitty gritty of everything, and that too with absolute patience and perseverance. कोई भी जल्दबाजी करने की जरूरत नहीं है. सब्र इस्तिकलाल का मुजाहरा करना है और मेक श्योर करना है कि जो भी मैं अटेम्प्ट कर रहा हूं या कर रही हूं, ये अटेम्प्ट मैं बिल्कुल होश हवास में और अपने आप को बैलेंस और इक्विलिब्रियम में रख के कर रहा हूं या कर रही हूं. तो इंशाल्लाह ये मसला जो है वो ठीक हो जाएगा एग्जामिनेशन में. कोई परेशानी होने की जरूरत, परेशानी लेने की जरूरत नहीं है, लेकिन फोकस और कंसंट्रेशन दे विल बी होल्डिंग द की व्हेन वी टॉक ऑफ डूइंग द स्किल्स. 5 ऑब्जेक्टिव टाइप क्वेश्चंस, ये बेस्ड होंगे ऑन द बेस ऑफ द आइडियाज जो वहां पे होंगे, और उन्हीं आइडियाज का टेस्ट एग्जामिनर करेगा कि क्या आपको आइडियाज समझ आ गए हैं, जो पैसेज में बोला जा रहा है, क्या ये इंफॉर्मेशन आपको पल्ले पड़ रही है, क्या ये इंफॉर्मेशन आपको सही दिशा में अंडरस्टैंड हो रही है कि नहीं. तो वो होगी 5 मार्क्स के क्वेश्चन, और उसके बाद 5 और मार्क्स जो होंगे, दैट विल बी असेसिंग योर कॉम्प्रहेंशन, मींस अंडरस्टैंडिंग वर्ड फॉर्मेशन. जो मैं भी बोल रहा था, वर्ड फॉर्मेशन. सपोज ब्लैक बोर्ड, ब्लैक का जो है वो कोलोकेशन बोर्ड के साथ है. इसी तरह से यू हैव गॉट वर्ड्स बेस्ड ऑन वर्ड्स देयर फ्रॉम वेयर यू विल हैव टू फाइंड एंटोनिम्स, सिनोनिम्स, वर्ब्स, एडवर्ब्स, नाउन फॉर्म्स, ये फॉर्मेशन. और इन्फ्रेंस, इन्फ्रेंस मींस गेटिंग लॉजिकल कंक्लूजन्स, यानी कि आपको कंक्लूजन करना आएगा कि नहीं. एक लाइन पैसेज में है, क्या आपको उस लाइन से कंक्लूजन निकालना आएगा कि नहीं. Therefore, that is very important. That is also asked in civil services when we talk of the mains examination. वहां पे inference होता है, यानी कि पैसेज में वर्ड्स होते हैं या सेंटेंस होते हैं जिनका सिंबॉलिक सेंस होता है, मतलब इनडायरेक्ट होता है. क्या आप उस इनडायरेक्ट मतलब को जो तशबीहात में लिखा गया होता है, जो मुख्तलिफ मेटाफोरिकल लैंग्वेज में लिखा गया होता है, क्या आप उसको अंडरस्टैंड कर पाते हैं कि नहीं. दैट इज also what is going to be asked in this capsule, that is section A, that is the reading comprehension, my dear friends. 20 marks, 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5. 5 for note making, 5 for summarization, 5 for the objective type, that's going to be based on the information contained in the passage, and those 5 last marks will be based on the comprehension, the word formation, the parts of speech, the use of words in different ways, and that is going to be the 20 marks for your reading comprehension section A, 20 marks, my dear friends. Without taking much of your time, there are some important items of grammar that you have to do. Remember, this is going to have 30 important marks for you, and we are now going to talk about articles. So what we are going to do, we'll be doing the articles, my dear friends, in this section. Now, articles, all of you know, class 10 से आप पढ़ते आए हैं, in fact 9 से, we have 3 important articles. And out of those 3 important articles, as you know, we have the indefinite article, that is a or an, and then we have the definite article, that is the or they, and then we have the zero article, that is no article, which is designated by X. बोलना चाहूंगा कि आपका जो आर्टिकल पार्ट है, इसमें जो अ और एन जो है, कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट स्पेशल टिप्स मैं देना चाहूंगा इन टर्म्स ऑफ आर्टिकल, सो दैट यू विल गेट दिस कॉन्सेप्ट एंड यू विल गेट दिस क्वेश्चन राइट इन द एग्जामिनेशन. रिमेंबर, इस बार जो आपका एग्जामिनेशन पैटर्न है, उसमें ग्रामर आइटम्स अलग अलग सेंटेंसेस के एतबार से नहीं पूछे जाएंगे, बल्कि आपको एक पैसेज दिया जाएगा, 8 मार्क्स पैसेज, और आपको बोला जाएगा एडिट दिस पैसेज in the form of grammatical corrections. आपको उस पैसेज में कुछ गलतियां होंगी. Some questions will be wrong in terms of tenses, some statements will be wrong in terms of articles, in terms of prepositions, in terms of right use of conjunctions, in terms of some other article concepts in grammar, and you'll have to get all those things right in the examination. पैसेज जो है वो आपको ग्रामेटिकली इनकरेक्ट होगा कहीं कहीं एक या दूसरे अंदाज से, और आपको उस पैसेज को ठीक करना पड़ेगा, एंड यू कैन डू दैट ओनली व्हेन यू हैव साउंड नॉलेज ऑफ ग्रामेटिकल कॉन्सेप्ट्स. सो आर्टिकल की बात करते हैं. और एन जो है, वी कॉल दैट इनडेफिनिट आर्टिकल, जैसा कि मैंने आपसे कहा, और ये यूज होता है, वी यूज और एन व्हेन वी टॉक ऑफ कॉमन एंड काउंटेबल नाउन्स. जब हम कॉमन या काउंटेबल नाउन्स की बात करते हैं, याद रखिए, कॉमन नाउन्स आर दोज नाउन्स विच आर द जनरल नेम्स ऑफ थिंग्स, and countable nouns are those nouns which can be converted into their plurals. Suppose a man, a teacher, a doctor, a woman, these are common nouns. Similarly, a pen, a chair, a notebook, an ink pot, an orange, these are countable nouns. Remember, countable nouns can be converted into their plurals. We can't say rice, rices. We say a bag of rice. We can't say tea, teas. We say a cup of tea. We can't say water, waters. We say a glass of water. Therefore, glass is countable. Bag is countable. Similarly, cup is countable. That's why article is used there. So, remember, आर्टिकल इंडेफिनेट और एन जो है, ये लगता है काउंटेबल्स और कॉमन नाउन्स के साथ. इसमें जो इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट जो आपको एग्जामिनेशन के लिए मैं बताना चाहूंगा, वो आपको याद रखना है. क्लास 10th में मैंने बताया था, जो आप में से मेरे पास थे, मैंने आपको बोला था, आर्टिकल्स बेसिकली अग्री विद साउंड्स. आर्टिकल्स अग्री विद साउंड्स. If the sound is consonant, the article we use is a. If the sound is vowel, the article we use is an. मैंने आपको बताया है कि there are 44 sounds in total. Out of those 44 sounds, we have 24 consonant sounds and we have 20 vowel sounds. अगर आप क्लास 10th याद करें, footprints without feet से पहले हमने पढ़े थे phonetics में वो 44 sounds. और वो 44 sounds जो है, they are absolutely crucial if you talk of article usage. Therefore, sound is consonant, article a. Sound is vowel, article an. Remember, we have 5 vowel letters, A, E, I, O, U. They are letters. But we have 20 vowel sounds like E, O, A, U, U. These are the sounds that we have read. And similarly, we have got 24 consonant sounds like P, B, L, M, G, Th, J, R, S, Sh, blah, blah, blah. Now, if sound is vowel, then an is used, and if sound is consonant, then we use a. Suppose dash European. Dash European. Now, अगर आप देखें ये जो लेटर है ये है वावल लेटर ई, लेकिन साउंड ये देता है य, यूरोपियन. और यह साउंड जो है we write it like this in phonetics. This is य sound. और अगर ये य साउंड है, अगर ये य साउंड देता है initially, तो obviously we will not use an with it, we'll obviously use a with it. Therefore we'll don't say an European, we say a European. Similarly, dash air, H-E-I-R. You can't read it as hair. This is air. The pronunciation of A-I-R and the pronunciation of H-E-I-R ditto. Therefore, air, if it is air, then the initial sound is aya. और आपको मैं बताना चाहता हूं ये aya sound जो है, it is written like this. We write aya sound like this. Therefore, this is the aya sound. Let me write it. This is aya sound. And this aya sound is the vowel sound, diphthong, and therefore we'll not say a air, we'll say an air. Similarly, an honest man, dash MLA, we say an MLA. Dash university, we say a university. Therefore, that is something that you need to know. Articles agree with sounds. अगर a है, अगर consonant है तो a, अगर vowel है तो an. ये बहुत ही important बात है examination के लिए. उसके बाद we move forward and we talk of another article, important article, that is the. Remember, when it's used with vowels it is the, and when it's used with consonants it is the. So the is more common. अब आपको the के बारे में तो already पता ही होना चाहिए कि most of the proper nouns we use article the. Like we have the names of historic buildings, the names of famous rivers, lakes, oceans, musical instruments, heavenly bodies, the deserts, the dams, the mountain peaks, etc., etc. We use article the. They are default uses. But the use that I'm going to talk about here for the examination purpose is that when you make a common thing particular or proper or specific. Suppose this is the pen in my hand. It's a common name. It's a common noun. This is a pen. But then I can make it a specific, like the pen that is in my hand writes well. Now I'm not talking of all the pens in the world. I'm talking of that pen which is in my hand. Therefore this makes the case specific. ये इस case को specific और particular बनाता है. Watch. This is a common noun. But the watch I am wearing is a gift from my friend to me. Therefore, now I am not talking of all the watches of the world. I am talking of this particular watch. Teacher is a common noun. Now I can specify that. I know the teacher who was awarded the best prize on the Teacher's Day. Therefore, I'm not talking of all the teachers of the world. I'm talking of the teacher who taught me, or rather, who has got that prize on the Teacher's Day. इसको हम बोलते हैं एक common चीज को specify करना, particularize करना. इसके बारे में आपको ख्याल रखना है. That is something which the examiner may test you with. क्योंकि एग्जामिनर हमेशा आपको धोखे में रखेगा कि ये कॉमन नाउन है, इसके साथ तो अ लगेगा या एन लगेगा. बट देन एग्जामिनर को ये चेक करना है कि क्या आपको सिचुएशन को अंडरस्टैंड करके ये पता करना आएगा ये कॉमन केस जो है इट हैज बीन स्पेसिफाइड और इट हैज बीन पर्टिकुलराइज्ड. That is very important for exams. Similarly, we use article the with unique and representative nouns. Unique and representative. Like you have got some words like chinar. Now see, the chinar, the tiger, the internet, the road, the radio, the telly. These are unique nouns. The road, these are specific nouns, unique nouns that we use article the with. Similarly, you can use article the with nationalities. Nationalities, like we have the Indian, the French, the Germans, the Dutch, the Italian, the American, the Kashmiri, the Taliites, the Srinagarites. You know, these are nationalities that we use article the with. Similarly, you can use article the with the superlative degree of adjective. This is for the exams, superlative degree. Sometimes with the comparative degree as well. I'll tell you how, but mostly it's used with the superlative degrees. You must be knowing about superlative degrees of adjective. We have got superlative degrees of adjective like good, better, and best. Best is the superlative. Large, larger, largest. Handsome, handsomer, handsomest. Handsome, more handsome, most handsome. Intelligent, more intelligent, most intelligent. Beautiful, more beautiful, most beautiful. Pleasant, more pleasant, most pleasant. Or pleasant, pleasanter, pleasantest. These are superlative degrees of adjective जिनके साथ हम article द लगाते हैं. कभी कभी comparative degrees are used in parallel, and at that time we can use comparative degrees as well. We can use article the like this. The higher we go, the cooler it is. The deeper we go, the hotter it is. Now see, higher and cooler, they are used in parallel. Similarly, deeper and hotter, used in parallel. You know, sometimes we can use article the in this case as well. He is the better of the two. When the comparison is limited, ये दो में से बेहतर है. You are specifying one person and you are comparing that one person in a limited comparison with some other person. Therefore, he is the smarter of the two boys. He is the better of the two boys. This is the uglier of the two situations. That is, we use article the sometimes with there as well. Similarly, you can use article the with the directions like the right, the left, the north, the south. That is also there. We use article the with. Similarly, use article the with those persons who are common, but then you compare them with the great personalities. Remember, Long Walk to Freedom, class 10th. You know, you had like the Yusuf Dadus, you know, the Graham Fishers, the Mandelas. You know, when you are using a personality in plural. Now, when you say the Mandelas, you don't mean कि Mandela बहुत थे. Mandela तो एक ही था, लेकिन people like them. You know, we say the Martin Luther Kings are not easily available as leaders. You know, the Martin Luther Kings. That means he was one. The Gandhis, the Bachchans, you know, the Dilip Kumars are not normally present in and usually seen in the industry. Like them, actors like them. That is also one unusual use. May not be asked in the examination, but आपको ये पता होनी चाहिए. More importantly, this use जिस पे आप focus करेंगे वो ये कि एक कॉमन चीज को कैसे पर्टिकुलर सिचुएशन में डाला जा सकता है. और एक यूज जो खासकर मैंने बताई यूनिक नाउन्स के साथ, रिप्रेजेंटेटिव नाउन्स के साथ. एन एप्पल अ डे keeps the doctor away. When you say the doctor away, you don't mean one doctor, you mean doctor as a representative. Keeps diseases away. You know, keeps all the maladies and diseases away. In that context, we can use article the. कुछ बातें जो है ये article the के बारे में मैंने बताई. इसके साथ साथ you have got the zero article. That is, there are some situations जहाँ पे हम article लगाते ही नहीं. Suppose when we talk of indefinite, when we talk of uncountable nouns, we don't use indefinite article. Uncountable nouns, no indefinite article. यानी कि आपको अ या एन लगाने की कोई गुंजाइश नहीं है. We cannot use any indefinite article when we talk of uncountable nouns. We can't say he gave me an advice. That's wrong, because advice is an uncountable noun. You can use the determiner some there. You can use he gave me some advice. By the way, the difference between the determiner some or any is that we use some in positive situations and any in negative situations. Suppose I have got some money. This is a positive situation. अगर मुझे बोलना हो कि मेरे पास पैसे हैं ही नहीं, तो I can say I have got, in fact, I don't have any money. Therefore, I do not have. The situation is negative, and I can't say I do not have some money. That's going to be wrong. Therefore, I don't have any money. He doesn't have any manners. You can't say he doesn't have some manners. But then when we talk of positive situations, he has got some guts. You can't say he has got any guts. No, he has got some guts, and if you turn it into negative, he hasn't got any guts. That is also used with some uncountable nouns like information. Do you have some information? We cannot say do you have an information. Similarly, there are some other uncountable nouns where you don't use article or an. Abstract nouns की बात करें तो वहां पर भी an और जो है वो नहीं यूज होते. Like we have friendship, understanding, love, truth, goodness, beauty. These are abstract nouns, and with abstract nouns also we don't use indefinite article or an. The can be used if the situation is particular. Now see, friendship is an abstract noun. I can say I'm proud of the friendship that we share. Now I'm not talking of friendship as an abstract noun. I'm talking of a specific case of friendship that is shared between you and me. Therefore, that is where we can use the के लिए provision है, लेकिन situation particular होनी चाहिए. Under normal circumstances, we don't use article or an with abstract nouns. Now, examination में last year क्या question आया था? Dash youth is a beautiful period of life. Now see, youth as a period is abstract noun. Therefore, youth is a lovely period of life. But then वहाँ पे ये भी लिखा था dash youth of today have much more freedom. Now there is a specific reference dash youth of today. Now you have to have article the here, the youth of today. You are not talking of youth as a general case, you are talking of youth as a particular case. कुछ ऐसी situations हैं जहां पे article यानी कि x no article use हो जाता है, जहां पे कोई गुंजाइश नहीं article लगाने की. उनमें names of persons they don't take article, names of places they don't take article, names of days, names of months, names of years they don't take article. Similarly, meal times they don't take article unless specified. Suppose I take breakfast at 8. Now I can't say I take the breakfast at 8. Similarly, I'll invite him for lunch, not I'll invite him for the lunch. अगर situation particular हो तो the लग सकता है like this. The lunch that we took yesterday was tasty. Now you are talking of a specific lunch. Otherwise, under normal circumstances, there is no need to use any article the. Similarly, names of institutions. I go to school. The patient was taken to hospital. If the situation is particular, then article the can be used. I went to the school to collect the results of my brother. I went to the hospital to see my patient. Now you are referring in a particular frame, in a particular situation. Similarly, names of festivals, no articles. Names of metals, no articles. Names of subjects and languages, no article. Similarly, the parallel structures, arm in arm, hand in hand, no article. These are certain situations where we don't use any article. So dear friends, this much information regarding articles, I think it's very crucial for you. मुझे पूरी उम्मीद है कि इस इंफॉर्मेशन के साथ अगर आप आर्टिकल को लेके चलेंगे तो इंशाल्लाह एग्जामिनेशन के लिए it should not be a big deal for you to crack it. Now the other grammatical item that is in your syllabus और इसके बारे में आपसे पूछा जा सकता है, that is modals. So friends, As you know that we have two types of auxiliary verbs. One is the primary auxiliaries. Class में याद करिए verb be, verb do, verb have. उसके बाद be के बारे में हमने पढ़ा is, am, are, was, were, been, being. Then do के बारे में do, does, did, and then have के बारे में have, has, had. That's primary auxiliaries. Then we have special verbs in English. When we talk of auxiliary verbs, we call them modal auxiliaries. Like we have shall, will, can, may. उसके बाद shall का should, will का would, may का might, can का could. उसके बाद must. Then we have the ought to, we have used to, need, have to, and dare. So we have these modal auxiliaries और इनकी uses जो है हमें roughly जहन में रखनी है. When we talk of the first modals, that is shall and will, the first thing that I would like to talk about these two modals is that both shall and will express future tense. Normally with the first person we use shall, and with the other persons we use will. I shall go to school tomorrow. We shall have a decision on Monday. Similarly, he will arrive from New York next week. Tomorrow will be Friday. These are default uses. But then in spoken English, will is more dominant than shall. Therefore, will is used, especially in the contracted form. And the contracted form is I apostrophe LL for both I shall and I will. But just use पे आप ज़्यादा फोकस करेंगे will की और shall की. will के लिए you will focus on this use. Uses तो बहुत हैं, लेकिन you will use this one for examination purpose. Will show strong determination. I will do or die in this attempt. She will crack neat, come what may. Therefore, the situation is challenging, but you have got enough guts and smartness to control the situation. Similarly, shall. Shall is used when we talk of command. We talk of command. We can talk of making an offer. We can also talk of seeking a suggestion. किसी राय को जानने के लिए आप shall का इस्तेमाल करते हैं. Sometimes we use shall for giving a threat also. In case of will, there are some more uses, but I think will can be taken for strong determination use. That is something which I feel that can be asked in the examination. But when we talk of shall, command use, shall is an official modal. Indisciplined students shall not come to school from tomorrow. Similarly, when we talk of threat, I shall not allow you to be here. I shall kill you if you do not mend your ways, mend your P's and Q's. Shall is an official modal where an official talks to a subordinate, he uses shall. We use shall for showing offer also. Shall I carry one of your bags? You are having so much of burden. Shall I help you in doing the assignment? You are making an offer. Similarly, you are seeking suggestion. The weather is absolutely beautiful. Shall we go for a walk? This jacket is absolutely amazing. Shall I buy it? That is seeking a suggestion, giving a threat, making an offer, sending out a command. Also, we use shall. When we talk of one more modal, examination specific, that is can, it shows ability. Can shows ability. Sometimes it shows possibility and informal permission as well, but mostly it's asked for ability use. This problem is heavy. It's very tricky. Can you solve it? This box is heavy. Can you lift it? I can speak French. I cannot speak English. Cannot means having the ability to do something. Accidents can happen to anybody. That is the use of can as a possibility. Similarly, anything can happen. Sometimes we use can for informal permission. Can I take this notebook for a while, my dear friend? Can I use your phone? But then when we talk of formal permission, we have this modal that is for examination. That is formal permission, may. जिसका एग्जाम के लिए आपको ख्याल रखना पड़ेगा. Formal permission. May I come in, sir? May I submit my assignment, sir? May I be excused, sir? May I leave the room for a moment, sir? May I take this book for a while, sir? This is formal permission. Sometimes probability also. The clouds are dense and dark. We may get heavy rains. May, probability. Similarly, we use may for showing purpose also. Like, we eat that we may live. And sometimes we use may for this important use also, that is making a wish. May Allah keep you under the umbrella of His protection and blessings. May success kiss your feet. May you get the best of life. And that is followed by a note of exclamation, जिससे आपको idea आ ही जाएगा कि you are making a wonderful and prayerful wish for someone. So can, shall, will, may. Then we move forward and we talk about their pasts. Can ka past could. It shows politest request. Politest request. कल को एग्जाम में अगर आपको रिक्वेस्ट वाला मूड आ जाएगा तो obviously the first preference will give to would be could. You can request with some other modals as well. Will you please keep quiet? This is also request. May you please keep quiet? This is also request. Would you please keep quiet? This is also request. Would you mind keeping quiet? This is also request. But the most polite and the sweetest request would be, could you please keep quiet? Could you explain to me this matter a little further? Could you give me your notebook for a while? This is the politest request that you could make with could. Similarly, sometimes could shows possibility also. The bus that is coming could be mine. Pakistan could win the match if they batted well on that tricky turf. So we move forward and we use we study one more modal, that's would. Would ka jo hai, it is used for preference and liking. Preference, liking. I would rather live in I would rather die in honor than live in dishonor. I would prefer tea to coffee. I would like to ask a question. Would you like to sit for a while? That is preference. Sometimes wish making also. Kash ki main ek parinda hota. Would that I were a bird. Note of exclamation. Would is used for that purpose. Anyways, we use could, would, and then we have should. And this should is used for moral duty. Exam के लिए पूछा जा सकता है, अक्सर आ जाता है. Whenever we talk of moral duties, like we should respect the teachers and the parents, we should be polite with the tongue, we should be very much sympathetic to the poor. This is should, moral duty. And then we have might, that shows weaker possibility. Weaker possibility. If may shows stronger possibility, might shows weaker possibility. The clouds are thin. We might get some rain. He has not performed well in the pre-boards. He might get a distinction in the board exams. Therefore, the possibility is not that great when we talk of might. So, we move forward and we have one hot favorite modal auxiliary for exams, that is must, and it shows surety, necessity, and urgency. Everyone who is born must die. You have traveled a lot. You must be tired. Head boy has failed. Come on, you must be joking. I'm sure you are joking. That is must. Must. He is suffering from asthma. The doctor says he must stop smoking. That means this is something where it's urgent, it is necessary. Children must not be allowed to go into and go into the room and touch electric gadgets. You know, that is must. Whatever is harmful, whatever can cause harm and damage, it's better that you be extra cautious onto it and use must for it. So we have one more auxiliary, that is used to, and remember it shows past habit. एग्जाम के लिए important. Past habit. When he was in his teens, he used to listen to a lot of songs. When I was in Delhi, I used to go for regular walks. Similarly, we have to, and have to जो है, it can be taken as a substitute for must, especially in terms of rules and laws. You know, children have to wear uniform at school. You have to be 18 to be able to vote. Therefore, it's almost a substitute of what's called must. Similarly, ought to. Now, when we talk of ought, we use it as a substitute of should. Now, see, we ought to love our neighbors. You ought not to behave like this. You should not. And we have used to, have to, ought to. And then we have need as one more modal. This shows the sense of requirement, either positively or negatively. The light is absolutely fine. You need not switch on the lamps. I have already attended the classes. Need I attend them again? When I am with you, you need not worry. And I mean it in terms of English. And we move forward, and we have the last modal, which may not be asked in the examination, that is dare. How dare you talk to me in a loud tone? You know, he fears animals and dare not watch National Geographic Channel. Therefore, sense of courage, that is what is associated with the modal auxiliary verb dare. So, dear friends, will, shall, may, can, would, should, might, could, then must, it's followed by should, ought, used, need, have to, and dare. So, this finishes our modals. We go back positions. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through a brief idea of all these grammatical items. Now, last year also in my video series, I just thoroughly explained different grammatical items. और यहाँ पे मैं एग्जामिनेशन पैटर्न के एतबार से इन पॉइंट्स को, इन कॉन्सेप्ट्स को डिस्कस करूंगा. Now, my dear students, we talk of the tenses, and let me tell you that we have three tenses. आपने पढ़ा होगा, क्लास 10 तक भी आपने पढ़ा होगा. We have the present tense, we have the past tense, and we have the future tense. In present tense, we have four shapes. We have the present simple, the present continuous, the present perfect, and the present perfect continuous. In past tense, we have the past simple, the past continuous, the past perfect, and the past perfect continuous. In future tense, we have the future simple, the future continuous, the future perfect, and the future perfect continuous tense. But remember, you need to remember the rules of all these tenses. क्योंकि जिस बंदे को ये rules clear ही नहीं है, उस बच्चे को आगे नरेशन और चेंज ऑफ वॉइस करने में काफी कठिनाई हो सकती है. एक रफ रूल रिवीजन कर लेते हैं. प्रेजेंट सिंपल की अगर बात करें, इन प्रेजेंट सिंपल वी हैव V1. In present continuous, we have is, yes, you're right, am, are plus ing form. ये हमें in fact class 10 से पढ़ा हुआ है. In present perfect, एक रफ रिवीजन कर लेते हम. We have slash has plus V3. In present perfect continuous, we have been slash has been plus ing form. Now, these are the four shapes of the present tense, my dear students. Present simple verb in first form. अगर present simple verb in first form है तो हम लिख सकते हैं I go, Go is the first form. Therefore, this is the present simple tense. And if you convert this present simple into present continuous, obviously आप बताएंगे is, am, are plus ing form. I के साथ am लगेगा. Therefore, the present continuous will be I am, and then ing form of the verb, that is going. This is present continuous. Now, if we have to make the present perfect of it, what we'll do is have or has plus third form. Therefore, I have, and then third form, that is go, went, gone. Remember, verb has four forms: V1, V2, V3, and V4. We use have or has plus third form of the verb in present perfect. Have लगता है I के साथ, we के साथ, you के साथ, they के साथ और plurals के साथ. Has लगता है he के साथ, she के साथ, it के साथ और singular nouns के साथ. Therefore, I have, we have, you have, they have, boys have, girls have, he has, she has, it has, boy has, girl has. Similarly, present perfect continuous may have been or has been plus ing form of the verb. Therefore, we'll say I go, then I am going, then I have gone, और अब हम बोलेंगे I have been going, I have been going. अगर ये I के बदले she होता या he होता, हम बोलते he goes, and then we would have said he is going, then we would have said he has gone, and then we would have said he has been going. प्रेजेंट के चार क्लियर, पास्ट के चार खुद ब खुद क्लियर हो जाएंगे. Now, if in present simple you say I go, in past simple you will use second form of the verb. In present simple we use first form, in past simple we use second form. In present simple you said I go to school. In past simple you will say I went to school. In present continuous you said is, am, are plus ing form of the verb. In past continuous you will say was or were plus ing form of the verb. In present continuous you said he is singing a song. In past continuous you will say he was singing a song. In present continuous you said birds are flying in the air. In past continuous you will say birds were flying in the air. In present perfect you said I have gone to school. In past perfect you will say I had gone to school, क्योंकि have और has की second form had है. Therefore, past में तो had, present में have or has. In present simple you say, in present perfect you said she has sung a song. In past perfect you'll say she had sung a song. In present perfect you say I have taken coffee. In past perfect you say I had taken coffee. In present perfect continuous tense we said she has been going to school. In past perfect continuous you say she had been going to school. In present perfect continuous you said I have been working on this matter. In past perfect continuous you'll say I had been working on this matter. So easy, absolutely easy. V1 to V2, is, am, are to was to were, have or has to had, have been or has been to had been plus ing form of the verb. That is present tense and past tense. Then you have the future tense, will or shall plus first form. Present simple, I go to school. Past simple, I went to school. Future simple, I will go to school. Present continuous, I am going to school. Past continuous, I was going to school. Future continuous, I will be going to school. Present perfect, I have gone to school. Past perfect, I had gone to school. Future perfect, I will have gone to school. Present perfect continuous, I have been going to school. Past perfect continuous, I had been going to school. Future perfect continuous, I will have been going to school. This is the whole matter of the 12 tenses. I hope that this is already read also by you up to class 10th and 11th, but you can have a rough revision of these tests. Obviously, the examiner may ask you a wrong sentence in the editing passage. वहां पे लिखा होगा उसने गलती से have की जगह has लिखा होता, या उसने प्रेजेंट टेंस के बदले पास्ट टेंस यूज किया होगा. सपोज वहां पे सेंटेंस होगा he told that he goes to school. Now अगर told है that is V2, that is the past tense. Obviously आगे जो sentence जाना चाहिए that also should be in the past tense. You can't say he told that he goes because of the fact that there will be a disequilibrium. If you have got the past tense as told, then you have to have the past tense as went also. Therefore go is the wrong one and you have to replace it by went. Remember class 10th एडिटिंग पैसेजेस जो आप एक्सरसाइज किया करते थे, बिल्कुल यही पैटर्न होगा यहां पर भी, लेकिन कॉन्सेप्ट जो है थोड़े ज्यादा टेस्ट हो जाएंगे. दैट इज पंक्चुएशन. इसके बारे में भी कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट जो है वो पढ़ लेते हैं. मैं आपको बताना चाहता हूं कि हम इस वक्त उस ग्रामर वाले पार्ट की बात कर रहे हैं जिसके साथ 8 मार्क्स जुड़े, और आपके सामने होगा एक पैसेज जिसको एग्जामिनर बोलेगा edit the following passage and make the necessary corrections in terms of grammar. और वो corrections होंगी करनी आपको, और वो आप तब कर सकते हैं when you have got a good hold on the tenses, you have got a hold on narration, you have got a hold on change of voice, you have got the hold on reflexive pronouns, you have got the hold on punctuation, you have got the hold on prepositions, and you have got the hold on conjunctions. हम फिलहाल बढ़ रहे हैं आगे और थोड़ा हम आइडिया लेंगे पंक्चुएशन का. याद दिलाऊंगा मैं आपको. I'll take you back to your class 10th and the lesson first that we had from H.G. Wells, the great fiction writer. Remember, Footprints Without Feet. And after that interestingly funny story, we had the grammatical item number 1. Those are the students who were with me in class 10th must be knowing, and their notebooks also will be bearing witness to the fact that the first grammatical item that we studied there was punctuation. Now, इस punctuation में obviously बहुत कुछ पढ़ना है, लेकिन हम क्या करेंगे? We'll squeeze the whole ocean of punctuation into a pond and we'll try to do the surgical strikes on all important punctuation marks that may be asked in our examination, and that will help us to crack that all important question pertaining to grammar. मैं आपको बताना चाहता हूं punctuation में हम मुख्तलिफ punctuation marks की बात करते हैं. We have the full stop, we have the comma, we have the semicolon, we have the apostrophe, we have the note of interrogation, we have the note of exclamation, we have the ellipses, we have what's called the capital letters, we have the inverted commas, we have the parentheses, the brackets, we have hyphen, we have dash. These are the punctuation marks that we have, my dear friends, in punctuation. तो इन punctuation marks को कंप्लीट करने के लिए, इनके बारे में एक आइडिया लेने के लिए हम इस इंटरैक्टिव सेशन में कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट्स डिस्कस करेंगे. एंड द फर्स्ट थिंग दैट आई विल बी टॉकिंग अबाउट विल बी द फुल स्टॉप. रिमेंबर माय डियर फ्रेंड्स, फुल स्टॉप, इट इज द लॉन्गेस्ट पॉज इन इंग्लिश. It is also called full point. Americans call it period, or full stop is used when we talk of ending sentences, especially the assertive and the imperative sentences, my dear friends. जो ही आपको लगा कि एक assertive sentence, एक affirmative sentence, एक negative sentence जो है वो sequence में एक structure में end हो गया, meaning उसकी complete हो गई, obviously you will be ending that statement with a full stop or a full point. When we talk of imperative sentences, my dear friends, once again the punctuation mark that you'll be using has to be the full stop. Therefore, full stop is not only used to end sentences, it's also used to separate the letters of an abbreviation. Remember, MLA, that's an abbreviation. We have one more short form in English, that's called acronym. There's a difference. Acronyms are those short forms which are read as words, like AIDS, like SARC, like AFSPA, like AIMS. We read them as words. We don't read them as letters. And acronyms are not having full stop, dot in between. Remember, it is the abbreviation that has got the full stop in between its letters. Therefore, PH.D. Therefore, whenever you read a short form as letters, जब भी हम किसी short form को as letters पढ़ते हैं, तो we call that an abbreviation. And abbreviation में भी we use the full stop as a punctuation mark. When we talk of comma, my dear friends, when we talk of comma, remember, comma की अगर बात करें तो it has got some important and interesting uses. Number first use of comma that I may have discussed earlier also in the classrooms, in your earlier classes. Remember, we use comma to separate a series of words in the same construction. एक ही series of words in the same construction. Suppose he is smart, comma handsome, comma intelligent, comma wise, comma mature, and honest. Therefore, this is a chain of words in the same construction, my dear friends. Remember, the last two words will not be separated by the comma. It will be separated by, they'll be separated by a conjunction. Last word and the penultimate word, the last but one word, we'll be separating them by a conjunction. That is one common use of comma. Remember, comma happens to be the shortest pause in English. We move forward and we discuss some more uses of comma. Remember, the examination point of view, use जो comma किया वो है, it is used to separate the exact words of the speaker from the rest of the sentence, जिसको हमने अभी narration में बोला, reporting verb and reported speech. आपने पढ़ा होगा, reporting verb is that part of the sentence which is without commas, and reported speech is that part of the sentence which is enclosed in commas. और इन दो parts को separate करता है comma. He said to me, comma, commas begin. That means commas begin से पहले comma. He said to me के बाद comma. Therefore, reporting verb and reported speech gets separated by a comma. Very important use. Then the third use, we use comma to separate a dependent clause from an independent clause. Remember, a clause is a group of words that has got a subject and a verb and forms a part of a sentence. एक dependent clause को एक independent clause से separate करने वाला जो punctuation mark है, that is a comma. You must be asking me, sir, what is a dependent clause and what is an independent clause? जो clause sense of dependence दिखाए, जैसे कि नाम से ही पता चलता है, जो clause खुद exist ना कर पाए, जो clause एक full stop accept नहीं कर पाए, we call such a clause as a dependent clause. I'll be showing you with the help of an example. I hope that will get clear. Have a look. अगर मैं कहूं, if you want success, comma, you will have to make sacrifice. If you want success, you will have to make sacrifice. Dear friends, it has got two parts. मैं आपको बताना चाहता हूं कि धोखा मत खाइए कि दो सेंटेंस है. सेंटेंस एक ही है. It is only one sentence, my dear friends. It's only one sentence because it contains only one full stop. Therefore, sentence 1, but parts 2. Part 1, if you want success, this is part 1. Part 2, you will have to make a sacrifice. This is part 2. याद रखें, इन दो parts को separate करता है comma. Now the question is, which part is what? मैं आपको बताना चाहता हूं. If you want success is a group of words which has a subject, that is you, which has a verb, that is want, and which is a part of a sentence, that is a part of a sentence, and this group of words which has a subject, a verb, and which forms a part of a sentence, my dear friends, we call that a clause. Therefore, if you want success is a clause. Same goes with you will have to make sacrifice. Now the question is, you will have to make sacrifice. Is it a group of words? Yes. Does it have a subject? Yes. Does it have a verb? Yes. Is it a part of a sentence? Absolutely yes. Therefore, you will have to make sacrifice also जो है, that is also a clause. अब मसला है कि ये क्लॉज और ये क्लॉज में फर्क क्या है. आप देख सकते हैं, इफ यू वांट सक्सेस को अगर इस सेंटेंस की बॉडी से अलग किया जाए तो ये इंडिपेंडेंटली एग्जिस्ट नहीं कर सकता. इट कैन नॉट एक्सेप्ट अ फुल स्टॉप. if you want success, can it accept a full stop? Certainly not. But you will have to make sacrifice. Can it accept a full stop? Yes. It has got a complete sense. It does not show any dependence. You will have to make sacrifice जो है ये if you want success के बगैर भी जिंदा रह सकता है, लेकिन if you want success जो है ये you will have to make sacrifice के बगैर बिल्कुल भी जिंदा नहीं रह सकता. When a clause cannot exist independently and individually, we call such a clause as dependent clause or subordinate clause. Class 8th याद करिए, lesson number 6 Julius Caesar, वहां पे हमने पढ़ा था simple, compound and complex sentences. Such a sentence is called complex sentence which contains two clauses. One is dependent, another is independent. यहां पे जो dependent clause है that is if you want success, और यहां पे जो independent clause है that is you will have to make sacrifice. हमने कॉमा की यूज पढ़नी है, वो चीजें एक्स्ट्रा में आ गई. कॉमा इज यूज्ड टू सेपरेट अ डिपेंडेंट क्लॉज फ्रॉम एन इंडिपेंडेंट क्लॉज. दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. याद रखें, जब डिपेंडेंट क्लॉज पहले और इंडिपेंडेंट क्लॉज बाद में लिखा जाए, वी यूज कॉमा टू सेपरेट द टू क्लॉजेस. लेट्स टेक सम मोर सैंपल्स एज एग्जांपल्स. वेयर देयर इज अ वे, where there is a will, there is a way. Where there is a will is a subordinate clause, a dependent clause. Since he is very good at English, I went to him for guidance. Therefore, since he is very good at English, dependent clause, I went to him for guidance, independent clause. My dear friends, independent and dependent clause gets separated by a comma. We move forward with one more use of comma. जब आप किसी नाम को, किसी इंसान को नाम से या उसके टाइटल से पुकारे तो we use a comma, my dear friends. We can do it like this. Go and get me some water, Sunil. Sunil से पहले comma. We can also say it like this. Sunil, comma, go and get me some water. Therefore, Sunil के बाद, my dear Mr. Benny, do you know that Netherfield Park is let at last? याद करिए, Pride and Prejudice, lesson number 2, page 11, class 10th. An excellent father, जहाँ पे आपने पढ़ा था पहली लाइन, my dear Mr. Benny, do you know that Netherfield Park is let at last? My dear Mr. Benny के बाद comma. Therefore, titles हो, नाम हो, address करना हो किसी को, उससे पहले comma. One more important use of a comma. Sometimes you use an additional phrase or a clause in the body of a sentence. Suppose she is my friend. This is a sentence. Now आप इस sentence में एक additional phrase use करते हैं. She is without any shadow of doubt my friend. Without any shadow of doubt जो है, it's an additional phrase in the body of the sentence, और इसको दोनों तरफ से comma जो है वो separate करेगा. Similarly, when we talk of non-restrictive relative clauses, अगर आपको याद हो, we sometimes put a clause in the middle of the sentence. Suppose, remember lesson 5, class 10, the sermon at Benares, we read about relative clauses. याद करिए, two types of relative clauses we can make. I have a friend, he is very honest. We say, I have a friend who is very honest. Then we made one more type of a clause. Tina sings well. Tina's father is a doctor. We merge them like this. Tina, comma, whose father is a doctor, फिर comma, sings well. Now see, whose father is a doctor जो है, it is an additional clause. in the body of the sentence. When you have got an additional phrase or a clause in the body of a sentence, on both the sides you make use of a comma to separate that clause from the rest of the sentence. Therefore, these are 5 crucial uses of comma for the examination that we have to do. We move forward and we have one more important punctuation mark जो अक्सर students परेशान हो जाते हैं उसको लेके, that is the apostrophe. Remember the spelling APOSTROPHE, the apostrophe. Now, how do we use this apostrophe? मैंने आपको बोला है क्लास में भी that there are 2 uses. Number 1, you can use an apostrophe for the purpose of contraction, and you can also use the apostrophe for the purpose of possession. Now, contraction की अगर बात करें, I plus will अगर मिलेगा तो बनेगा I apostrophe LL. अगर is plus not मिलेगा तो बनेगा isn't. अगर am plus not मिलेगा तो बनेगा aren't. अगर shall plus not मिलेगा तो बनेगा shan't. अगर will plus not मिलेगा तो बनेगा won't. Is plus not isn't. Am plus not aren't. Are plus not aren't. There is a trend of ain't. Ain't is an old-fashioned contraction that merged is plus not, am plus not, are plus not, do plus not, and does plus not, and did plus not once upon a time. Old-fashioned. आप ये देख सकते हैं informal chats में ain't ज़्यादा यूज होता है. But remember, we have separate contracted forms for is not, that's isn't, am not, aren't, are not, aren't, was not, wasn't, were not, weren't, shall not, shan't, cannot, can't, will not, won't, would not, wouldn't, may not, mayn't, might not, mightn't, must not, mustn't, ought not, oughtn't, need not, needn't, do not, don't, does not, doesn't, did not, didn't, have not, haven't, has not, hasn't, had not, hadn't, dare not, daren't. These are the contracted forms of all these important auxiliary verbs when we merge them with not. ये है एक तरीका यूज करने का apostrophe का. यहाँ पे apostrophe क्या करता है? It is omitting the letters. Suppose is plus not जो था, I plus will जो था, it was I will open form में 1 2 3 4 5. अब इन 5 letters में apostrophe ने क्या किया? It omitted W and I. 2 letters have been omitted, OMIT, removed. Apostrophe does the job of removal. Apostrophe does the job of omission. We call such use of apostrophe as contraction use. Now, the possession use, बड़ा important use exam के लिए, that is, जब आपको किसी चीज की belongingness दिखानी हो. Suppose राहुल का bag, we say Rahul's bag. We say Rahul's bag. सिंगुलर नाउन का पोजेशन दिखाना हो तो सीधी सी बात है apostrophe s से पहले आएगा. कंफ्यूजन जो आ जाता है that comes when you have to show the possession related to plural nouns. Suppose there are 2 types of plurals by the way. एक प्लूरल s से बनते हैं, es से बनते हैं, ies से बनते हैं, और कुछ प्लूरल्स ऐसे होते हैं जो s, es और ies से नहीं बनते. Suppose boy boys, girl girls, watch watches, baby babies, lady ladies. These are regular plurals. But we don't say man mans, we don't say woman womans, we don't say child childs, we don't say mice mices, we don't say sheep sheeps. These are irregular plurals. Rule बोलता है that regular plurals जो होते हैं they take apostrophe after s, and that's why you can say teachers day s के बाद, teachers day, boys hostel s के बाद. लेकिन men's hockey s से पहले. याद रखें, men is an irregular plural and irregular plurals have got their apostrophe before s. Therefore, remember children's doctor s से पहले, विमेन्स कॉलेज एस से पहले। कभी कभी किसी ऑथर का नाम एस से एंड होता है और उसका सपोज H.G. वेल्स, उसका पोजेसिव देने के लिए यू डोंट नीड टू एड एडिशनल एपोस्ट्रोफी एस, यू कैन राइट वेल्स बुक्स, वेल्स उसका नाम, उसके बाद एपोस्ट्रोफी, जस्ट एन एपोस्ट्रोफी देयर, and that is going to show that those books are possessed by H.G. Wells. Therefore, जिसका नाम S से end हो उसको additional S लगाने की जरूरत नहीं है, सिर्फ उसी नाम वाले S के बाद apostrophe लगा सकते हैं, and that is going to be the possession of that particular thing attached to that particular person. So that is all about apostrophe. We move forward and we just talk about inverted commas जो बड़े एग्जाम के लिए important हो सकते हैं. Inverted commas, obviously the use is as clear as the day. Inverted commas are used to enclose the exact words of the speaker. सीधी बात है, enclose the exact words, the actual words, जैसा हम direct speech में देखते हैं, we enclose the exact words with inverted commas. When we talk of hyphen, ये छोटा वाला dash जो है, by the way hyphen is half the dash and dash is double the hyphen. Hyphen जो है it's used to link the parts of a compound word. Suppose you have a word well to do. Well to do is a word which has got three elements, well to do, and these three elements are joined by a hyphen. Remember, hyphen can also be used to link the half finished word at the end of a line, but that's not going to be that crucial for this year's examination, but this one is important, maybe asked. Now, what is the use of dash? Now, you must be knowing that dash is used when we talk of explanations. Suppose, I love books, and then dash, dramas, plays, stories, poetry, etc. This explanation. I love fruits, then you explain oranges, grapes, apples, etc. Sometimes dash is used in titles also. Kashmir, dash, the lost paradise. Therefore, that is also something which you can keep in mind, but I don't consider this part that crucial for the examination. Now, what I consider very crucial for the examination is the interrogative mark and the exclamatory mark. Remember, interrogative mark जो है, note of interrogation जो है, it's normally used to end questions and question tags. Now, questions, as I've told you, there are two types. One is yes, no, the other is WH types. वो देखा आपने तो note of interrogation लगा ही लिया. और उसके बाद question tags, जिसके बारे में class 8th में थोड़ा idea आपने पाया होगा. Question tags are those short fragmented questions that we attach at the end of a statement. Remember, the rule says if the statement is positive, the question tag is negative, and if the statement is negative, the question tag is positive. Suppose I can speak English, the tag will be can't I, note of interrogation. If it is I can't speak English, it's a negative statement, इसको लगेगा positive tag, और positive tag का मतलब helping verb plus subject plus note of interrogation. Can I? Now let us do some oral drill. I will do it. Positive statement है, negative tag लेगा, will plus not, that is won't, और उसके बाद I, उसके बाद note of interrogation, won't I, और अगर ऐसे होता I will not do it. Negative tag है, negative statement है, positive tag लेगा, will I did not go there. Did I went there. Didn't I? She sings well. Doesn't she? She does not sing well. Does she? Now, if the statement is in the form of an imperative mood, like a command or a request like this, you have a statement like this. Shut the door. Now, you will say, will you? Please keep quiet. Will you happens to be the question tag for such statements. चाहे questions हो या question tags हो, the interrogative mark is used, my dear friends. Now, when we talk of exclamatory mark, as the name indicates, it is obviously going to be used for exclamatory sentences and interjections. अब इन interjections में क्या आता है? You must be knowing that we have alas, hurrah, ouch, oops, oh, ah. These are interjections that are normally used to express sudden feelings and emotions. How beautiful mankind is. I'll take you back to class 9, lesson 5. The Tempest, Once Upon a Time, Miranda and Ferdinand's story. When Miranda sees so many people, because she may have seen very less people in the form of her father, the old Prospero, and that fish like Caliban. But when she is in the cave playing chess with Ferdinand, and then she sees all the people, Antonios and Gonzalos and all other people, the party is there. When she sees so many people, she says, how beautiful mankind is. And then you can see the note of exclamation there. What a beautiful shot. What an amazing lecture. Note of exclamation. Alas, his father is dead. Pooh, his nose is running. Wow, what a lovely shot. Wow, alas, hurrah, oops. All these are interjections, और इन interjections के बाद भी note of exclamation को use करना पड़ेगा. Therefore, one more punctuation mark that I suppose is going to be quite crucial for your examination is the capital letters. In capital letters, let me tell you, in capital letters that I would like to inform you, normally the pronoun I is written in capital. जहां पर भी आपको pronoun I मिले, बच्चे गलती करते हैं, कभी I को ऐसे लिखते हैं, this wrong, that is small l. अगर आपको I लिखना है इस शक्ल में, तो नीचे भी बेस बनाइए, ऊपर भी बेस बनाइए, now it is I. और अगर आप ये small I लिख रहे हैं, तो make sure that you have got the dot on it. This is I, because I should be dotted and T should be crossed. Now, if you are writing a T, write it like this. Therefore, I को dot करना है अगर वो small है. अगर वो capital है तो ऊपर भी base, नीचे भी base. और याद रखें, अगर आप I को चाहे middle में लिखें या कहीं side में लिखें या पहले लिखें, हमेशा कैपिटल रहेगा. कैपिटल लेटर्स की एक और बात, प्रॉपर नाउन्स को स्टार्ट करते वक्त बहरहाल कैपिटल लेटर का यूज करना है, और सेंटेंस को स्टार्ट करते वक्त भी कैपिटल लेटर का यूज करना पड़ेगा. Therefore, these are some important punctuation marks which I suppose semicolon will not be asked in the examination. By the way, आपको बताता चलूं that semicolon separates two interrelated or two or more than two interrelated clauses. I remember Francis Bacon once upon a time saying, reading makes a full man, semicolon, writing an exact man, semicolon, speaking makes a ready man. These are three interrelated clauses, and interrelated clauses are always what's called linked and connected by the semicolon. Colon is not required. Colon is a different thing altogether. It's used for enlisting purposes. Ellipsis also is not required. Ellipsis is used when you have to mention the understood information and then you write so on and so forth. That is also not required. I guess you have to focus on full stop, comma, hyphen, note of interrogation, note of exclamation, capital letters, inverted commas, and apostrophe. I think these 5-6 important punctuation marks should be covering your demand in the examination when you see this question on editing. My dear friends, we are left with two things more from the grammar section, और मैं उन दो चीजों की तरफ जाना चाहूंगा वक्त जाए किए बगैर. एक चीज आपके सामने जो है, दैट इज कंजंक्शन इन ग्रामर. कंजंक्शन. और दूसरी चीज जो आपके सामने है, दैट इज प्रीपोजिशन. कंजंक्शन और प्रीपोजिशन, इन पे भी आपको एग्जामिनेशन में टेस्ट किया जाएगा. Now, dear friends, conjunction, be correct about the pronunciation of the word. Conjunction. Junction means meeting point. आपको एहसास हुआ होगा कि what are conjunctions? Conjunctions are those words which are used to link or to connect or to join sometimes words, sometimes clauses and sometimes sentences. और तभी इनका नाम पड़ा conjunctions, और इनको also बोलते हैं linkers. You can also call them connectors. You can also call them linking words. You can also call them joiners. These are conjunctions for you. कभी words को join करते, like black and white. chalk and cheese, do or die, यहाँ पे और and जो है words को join करते हैं, कभी कभी ये join करते हैं clauses को, like he is swimming in money but he is down to earth. यहाँ पे he is swimming in money one clause, he is down to earth clause 2, and these two clauses have been joined by the conjunction and. Therefore sometimes words, sometimes clauses, and sometimes sentences, my dear friends. He is sweet, everyone likes him. These are two sentences. We can merge these two, join these two with the help of a conjunction, so that, like this, he is so sweet that everyone likes him. Therefore साबित हुआ conjunctions जो हैं ये join करते हैं कभी words को, कभी clauses को, और कभी sentences को. Now the question is that what are the important conjunctions, by the way, that are used? Before going for that, I'll make a rough revision of the types of conjunctions. Number one, you have correlative conjunctions. Correlative conjunctions are those conjunctions which are used in correlation. Suppose आपके पास है एक correlative conjunction जो famous conjunction है, that is either or neither nor. मैं आपको बताता चलूं that either or is used for positive situations and neither nor is used for negative situations. Either be silent or speak words better than silence. He is neither a doctor nor an engineer. Kashmir is not only known for its hospitality but also for its beauty. He is both intelligent and kind. Although he is swimming in money, yet he is down to earth. These are conjunctions which are acting in correlation. Although जब यूज होता है तो yet यूज होता है both के साथ, and यूज होता है either के साथ, or यूज होता है neither के साथ, nor यूज होता है so के साथ, that यूज होता है. These are correlatives. उसके बाद compound conjunctions. Compound conjunctions नाम से पता चलता है, साइंस आप पढ़ रहे होंगे, आपको पता होना चाहिए element and compound. Like we say water is a compound where two atoms of hydrogen and one atom of oxygen combine. Therefore compound conjunction, two or more than two words combine, two conjunctions combine to form a compound conjunction. Suppose I opened the door as soon as I heard the knock. As soon as, in addition to, that is compound. So that is compound. So that की दो senses हैं, एक so that हो गया correlative, दूसरा so that जो है ये purpose जताता है. Suppose I sit in the front row so that I can see the board clearly. इस वक्त जो ये so that है ये compound conjunction है, मिले हुए हैं, so और that इकट्ठे हैं, लेकिन he is so sweet that everyone likes him. यहाँ पे so अलग और that अलग. This is a different conjunction at that time. It's a correlative conjunction showing result, and that is a purpose conjunction, that is a compound conjunction showing purpose. Therefore that is about compound conjunctions. Then we have coordinate conjunctions. अगर आपके मन में compound sentence की कोई याद हो तो आपको याद होगा कि compound sentence coordinate clauses को join करते हैं. compound conjunctions, coordinate conjunctions याद करेंगे. उनमें से जो important conjunctions है, that is and, then we have but, then we have so, then we have otherwise. These are the conjunctions that we have seen in that coordinate conjunction type, and then you have seen that being used in compound sentences. हर एक conjunction की अपनी अपनी use है. Suppose when we talk of and, it shows the sense of addition. ये sense of addition दिखाता है. Suppose he is my friend and my teacher. This is an addition sense. Or Kashmir is known for its beauty and its hospitality. यहाँ पे additional sense है. I can have the same sentence being spoken in different ways. Kashmir is known for its beauty and hospitality. Kashmir is known for its beauty in addition to its hospitality. Kashmir is known for its beauty. Moreover, it's known for its hospitality. Kashmir is known for its beauty and also for its hospitality. Kashmir is known for its beauty and its hospitality too. Kashmir is known for its beauty. Furthermore, it's known for its hospitality. Kashmir is known for its beauty besides its hospitality. Kashmir is known for its beauty and also its hospitality. Kashmir is known for its beauty. On top of that, it's known for its hospitality. Kashmir is known for its beauty and its hospitality too. Kashmir is known for its beauty and its hospitality too, plus its hospitality also can be used here in terms of a substitution for and. Therefore, and को आप मुख्तलिफ चीज़ से represent कर सकते. Same is the case with but. And shows addition, but shows contrast. कल को आपको पैसेज में एक कंजक्शन रॉन्गली दी गई होगी, वहां पे लिखा होगा he worked hard and he failed, और एग्जामिनर आपसे ये चाहता होगा कि क्या इसको समझ आएगा कि यहां पे जो कंजंक्शन यूज हुई है दैट्स अ रॉन्ग वन, बिकॉज व्हेन ही वर्कड हार्ड ऑब्वियसली the result should have been in favor. Now on the other hand side he failed. Now that means two contrasting statements. एक तरफ से उसने मेहनत की, दूसरी तरफ से वो फेल हो गया. सेंटेंस जो है दो साइड के जो क्लॉजेस हैं वो कंट्रास्टिंग है, और कंट्रास्टिंग क्लॉजेस को ज्वाइन करने के लिए द फेवरेट कंजंक्शन शुड नॉट बी एंड, इट शुड बी बट. Therefore, at that moment, you have to understand which conjunction to use when. But can be replaced by conjunctions like nevertheless, like however. Suppose he worked hard, but he failed. We can say he worked hard, however he failed. He worked hard, however he failed. He worked hard, nevertheless he failed. Similarly, we can say although he worked hard, he failed. Similarly, we can say, though he worked hard, he failed. These are the replacements for the conjunction but. Then we have the other one, that is so. Now, when we talk of so, we talk of reason sense. So shows the reason sense. Suppose I was sick, dash, I went, I stayed at home. I was sick, so I stayed at home. Similarly, you have got or. When we talk of or, we talk of the choice sense. Take tea or take coffee, do or die. That is the choice sense. Similarly, we have if, and by the way, this is the fourth type of conjunction now, subordinate conjunction, जिसको हम सबऑर्डिनेट क्लॉज को जोड़ने के लिए यूज करते हैं. रिमेंबर, कॉम्प्लेक्स सेंटेंस, वन क्लॉज इज सबऑर्डिनेट, द अदर क्लॉज इज प्रिंसिपल. सबऑर्डिनेट क्लॉज में इफ, अनलेस, इन केस, बिकॉज, सिंस, these are the conjunctions that we normally use in subordinate clauses. Though we use them in subordinate clauses, time conjunctions, when, reason conjunction, why, location conjunction, where. Therefore, these are subordinate conjunctions. If की अगर बात करें तो it shows condition. Similarly, when जो है it shows time. हर कंजंक्शन की अपनी अपनी सेंस है, और इस सेंस को आपको गेज करना है, चेक करना है, कैच करना है, and then you have to appropriately put that conjunction at the right place. So, dear friends, this was all about conjunctions, a rough idea. Then we move forward and we talk a little about prepositions. In fact, the note that I have made for prepositions will be enough for you, but still a few important things that I would like to call, in fact, talk about prepositions. By the way, पहली बात, what are prepositions? As I normally talk about any part of speech, I'll be talking about prepositions too. Prepositions are those words which are used to show relationship between two things or two persons. Relationship. You know, the pen is in my hand. You know, the picture is on the wall. He is fond of music. He is sitting in the chair. याद रखें, when we talk of an armchair, then you use in. Otherwise, you can use on. Different prepositions are there. Why are prepositions called prepositions? Pre means before. Position means placement. Prepositions जो है इनको prepositions इसलिए कहते हैं because they are used before nouns or pronouns, and that's why they are called prepositions, one of the 8 parts of speech. Now what are prepositions? ये तो आपने जान लिया. We move forward and see what are the important prepositions that could be asked in the examination. याद रखें prepositions के कोई खास specific particular rules नहीं है. It's all up to the use that ultimately decides when and how you can use a preposition correctly. Depend करता है कि use का है. Suppose he is dash tears, यहाँ पे आएगा he is in tears. We cannot say he is with tears. And similarly, he will come dash March. He will come in March. Tomatoes are sold dash kgs. याद रखें जब यूनिट ऑफ मेजरमेंट प्लूरल हो तो in लगेगा, जब यूनिट ऑफ मेजरमेंट सिंगुलर हो तो by लगेगा. Tomatoes are sold in kgs, but tomatoes are sold dash a kg अगर होगा then it has got to be by a kg. Same is the case with the of, which shows origin sense, like she is of Italian blood. Similarly, you have got liking sense attached with of. He is fond of music. When we talk of by, we talk of by as an instrument of action. Suppose this essay was written by Francis Bacon, by the person, the agency of action. Similarly, you talk of by in the time sense also, the range sense, like the forms should reach here by or before this or this such and such date. Therefore, that is sometimes used for swearing also. I swear by. Different situations जो है वो हम use करते हैं for prepositions. But कुछ prepositions धोखा देती है. Shall I use into or shall I use in? Shall I use over? There are some confusables like into जो है it's used when we talk of motion towards a particular thing. Suppose the car crashed into the wall, especially the movement has got to be from one side to the other, or the movement has got to be from a higher plane to a lower plane. The cat jumped into the well. Now if the movement is from a lower to a higher plane, then we can obviously use over. And that's why we say the batsman hit the ball over the boundary for half a dozen. Therefore, into and over. At की अगर बात करें, at is used particularly when we refer to a particular station. And stations are temporary. While traveling from Sopore to Srinagar, we stopped at Patan. Similarly, in की अगर बात करें तो in talks about a whole location. Suppose I live in Sopore at Noorbag. At is a destination which can be taken as a point. He is at the cinema. Nowadays he is studying at the university. Therefore, on, in, at. In के बारे में एक और बात मैंने बताई. When you talk of the chair with arms, then he is in the armchair. Otherwise, he is on the chair. Then we have through, across and along. Now through is the motion from one side to the other. Now the bullet passed through the window pane, and then we have across means movement in all directions. The question is that how to use it. Children are playing across the park. He has traveled across the globe. That means from all the sides, in all directions. And then when we talk of along, along means movement in a particular direction. The ants are moving along the wall. He is moving along the footpath. And that is how we use along, through, and what's called across. Now, what's the difference between among and between? When we talk of between, we talk of two people involved. When we talk of among, we talk of many. Similarly, against, then we have for also, in favor. For is also used for exchange. I bought this notebook for 100 rupees. He is going to speak for the motion, in favor of the motion, and he is going to speak against the motion. There are some important uses attached to these prepositions. He died of cancer. Now, he takes after his father. That means he resembles his father. I will look into the matter. You know, there are some prepositions which are helpful in the formation of certain phrases, and those phrases have got entirely different meaning when we study them from English point of view. All these preposition examples in different situations have been jotted down in the note that I have prepared for you, and I'll be supplying that note to you inshallah with the course notes. And I'm very sure that while you go through those notes, then obviously whatever comes in the preposition part, I think you will be able to handle that completely, absolutely, and with absolute perfection. This is going to carry 5 to 6 marks for you in the examination. So obviously the notes that I have made for you, the samples that I have made and drafted, they are going to be mighty helpful to you. In fact, I have talked and touched upon different issues, but फॉर्मेट मैटर्स अ लॉट, यानी कि आपको पता होना चाहिए कि मुझे ये लेटर लिखनी कैसे, बिकॉज फॉर्मेट कैरीज मार्क्स. मैं इंपॉर्टेंट नुक्तों की बात करूंगा यहाँ पे, बिकॉज वी हैव टू कवर वेरी मैनी आइटम्स. बिकॉज जब आपको आइडिया मिल जाएगा कि करना क्या है, तो देन इट विल बी इजियर फॉर यू टू फिल अप द मटीरियल देयर, बट द आइडिया शुड बी क्लियर. It has to be as per the format. Format is crucial in terms of writing. Now, when we talk of writing skills, the first thing is about letter writing, which carries 5 to 6 marks. बराबर आपने 8th क्लास से ही लेटर्स लिखना शुरू किया है, और मैं आपको बताना चाहता हूं कि लेटर्स जो है ब्रॉडली वी कैटेगराइज देम in the form of formal or informal letters. Obviously, you must be knowing that we write informal letters to friends and relatives, and we write formal letters to officials like editors of the newspaper, the bureaucrats, the officials, the secretaries, and the teachers, the principals, the heads of the institutions, the heads of the organizations, the CEOs of different companies. That is what we write these formal letters to. Now the question is that what is the purpose of letter writing? Letter writing का purpose जो है, that can be summed up in only one word, and that is communication. याद रखें, हम letters लिखते हैं सिर्फ और सिर्फ इस चीज के लिए. We want to communicate. Sometimes you want to communicate some information, sometimes you want to communicate a greeting, sometimes you want to communicate a condolence, sometimes you want to communicate some meaningful invitation, whatever. That is what we write a letter. Sometimes you want to send out an advice to someone, a piece of advice to someone. You just have this thing in mind that I have to communicate through a letter. This is a formal way of, in fact, the beautiful way of reaching out to someone. Now the question is that, when we talk of informal letters, what are the parts of the informal letter? क्लास में मैंने आपको बोला है, there are important parts of the informal letter. Number 1, that is heading. आपको नोट पे मिल जाएगा ये. The heading is the first part. Number 2, that is the salutation, जिसको आप greeting भी कह सकते हैं, salutation or greeting. Number 3, the main body. Number 4, the complementary clause. And number 5, the signature. So these are the 5 areas that you have to take care of while you write a letter. Now in the heading part, by the way, जब हम letter लिखेंगे तो हम left side margin line draw करेंगे, और on top left हम लिखेंगे पहला part, that is heading. इसमें आप लिखेंगे पहले street और locality address, like I live in नूरबाग, तो नूरबाग लिखा जाएगा. अगर lane number होगा तो that also will be written in the first line. Then you will have in the second line the city or town address like Sopore or Srinagar, and then you have the month and date like October 3 or 4 2021. This is to be written in proper alignment. मार्जिन लाइन के साथ पहले लेटर्स कैपिटल लिखे जाएंगे, जैसा कि आप नोट में देख भी सकते हैं. एक स्पेस छोड़ के you will go to salutation or greeting. And the best way to greet someone, especially in an informal letter, is saying dearest, or my dear, or dearest. That is how you can write dearest, and then preferably the nickname of that person. क्योंकि nickname जो है, it gives you an informal color, it gives you an informal touch. And that's why we prefer nickname. Suppose dearest Imran, instead of that I can write dearest Imu. That is something that brings me closer and gives an examiner a hint that yes, this is a sense of informality that has been written by the student. Because आपकी informal letter लगनी चाहिए informal, script में भी और format में भी. Then we move towards the third important part of letter writing, and that is the main body. यहाँ पे main focus or main thrust आपका होना चाहिए towards getting those important marks. Now the question is how to write the main body, what all to include in the main body. This is the area where the content of the student will have to be displayed, the content of the student will have to be exhibited, and the creativity of the student will be ultimately tested here in this main body. आप इस मेन बॉडी को क्राफ्ट कैसे करेंगे, आप इसमें कैसे क्रिएटिविटी भरेंगे, आप इसमें कैसे लॉजिकल थिंकिंग और क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग का यूज करेंगे, दैट इज हाउ वी हैव टू फ्रेम द मेन बॉडी. नॉर्मली बच्चों को क्या ख्याल आता है कि हम 5-8 लाइंस लिखें मेन बॉडी में तो हमें मार्क्स मिल जाएंगे. सर्टनली नॉट. इफ द एग्जामिनर इज वेरी वेरी सीरियस, देन व्हाट ही विल डू इज ही विल absolutely weigh each word of yours कि आपने मेन बॉडी में क्या लिखा है. याद रखिए कि मेन बॉडी जो है इसमें ऑब्वियसली सबसे पहले आपको ख्याल रखना चाहिए कि आई हैव टू फ्रेम इट इन एन इनफॉर्मल वे. तो उसके लिए क्या करना है, आपको पहले बहुत ही कैजुअल तरीके से हालचाल पूछना है. सपोज आई एम इन द पिंक, आई एम हंकी डोरी. दीज आर द कैजुअल इनफॉर्मल वेज ऑफ आस्किंग समवन्स well-being. How are you? I'm in the pink, I'm on cloud 9, I'm over the moon. Those informal phrases and idioms can be used. I hope your kith and kin are sailing in the same boat. This is how you can start off and give it an informal color. You can use contractions, you can use informal expressions. Like आपको बोलना था I am going to, you can use gonna. You wanted to write I want to, you can use wanna. You can use lemmy, you can use isn't it के बदले in it. These are the ways that you can adopt to make this main body quite informal. And I believe that modern day students are better writers of informal letters thanks to the chit chat and the social media, which has encouraged all this stuff in the youth, especially the children who transfer information through very very informal language, and that informal language has to be applied and executed in the main body of the informal letter. You can use the contracted forms, but at the same time remember, do not forget the message. एंड आप बस इनफॉर्मल ही लिखते जाएंगे और असली जो पर्पस आपका है वो आप भूल जाएंगे. नो, जो एग्जामिनर आपसे चाहता है उस एग्जामिनर की बात को ख्याल में रख के, उसको जहन में रख के आपको मेन बॉडी को क्राफ्ट करना है. यू आर इनवाइटिंग योर फ्रेंड for your brother's wedding. You have to make sure that you show the proper plan in the main body. Why are you inviting someone? Then what is the plan? If you are inviting someone, your friend, for 10 days vacation, what are the plans that you have in mind? Similarly, you have to make sure that you make all the arrangements for his coming or her coming to your home. Has his dad been informed? Has his people at home been informed? What are the modalities? What are the programs that you are going to? Because examiner क्या चाहेगा, वो देखेगा कि आप कितने क्रिएटिव हैं, आपने कितने सारे अरेंजमेंट्स मन में रखे हुए हैं और आप उनको कागज पे उतार के उस अपने दोस्त को मोटिवेट कैसे करेंगे to come and spend those important 10 days. Therefore, it's not a matter of filling just the pages. It's the matter of giving life to those pages with your absolute creativity and the glaring and the glorious content that you have to accumulate there. Therefore, I would advise you कि आप immediately मत लिखना बैठिए, पहले आप सोचिए कि मैं इस मेन बॉडी में क्या ऐड कर सकता हूं, क्या इंक्लूड कर सकती हूं. तो पीछे रफ वर्क करें और रफ वर्क में पॉइंट्स जॉट करें कि हाउ कैन आई शेप दिस मेन बॉडी. Once your main body is done, और आप मुतमईन हो गए कि आपने मेन बॉडी अच्छी लिखी और आपने सपोर्ट में जितने भी पॉइंट्स और फैक्ट्स लिखने थे वो लिख लिए, उसके बाद यू विल मूव फॉरवर्ड एंड देन यू विल राइट द कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री क्लोज. एंड इन द कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री क्लोज ऑब्वियसली बच्चे जो गलती करते हैं, यूअर्स सिंसियरली जो है वो ऐसे लिखते हैं वाई स्मॉल और उसके बाद वो एपोस्ट्रोफी एस डालते हैं. दिस इज रॉन्ग. याद रखें, अगर आप yours sincerely लिख रहे हैं तो y has to be capital, there is no apostrophe required, s has to be small. और अगर आप sincerely yours लिख रहे हैं तो sincerely का s capital और y small होना चाहिए. There is no need for any apostrophe because yours जो है that is a possessive pronoun and possessive pronoun में कोई extra possessive nature का punctuation mark डालने की कोई आवश्यकता नहीं है. Therefore, you're sincerely and then comma and then you move back and then you go downwards and you write signature. Please don't write X, Y, Z, A, B, C. Those things should be avoided. There is no need to write examination hall. You can write the address to which you belong. Therefore, no need to write examination hall. अगर कोई लिख भी लेता है तो it does not make any great difference because the examiner is finally going to see your content and the relevance of your ideas that you have put in the main body of the letter. एक बात, दूसरी बात, अगर आपको अब फॉर्मल लेटर लिखनी है और मैं आपको बताना चाहता हूं कि इट इज ए हॉट फेवरेट फॉर दिस ईयर्स एग्जामिनेशन, लेटर टू द एडिटर. जैसा कि सिलेबस में है, एडिटर को आपको लेटर लिखना पड़ेगा और एडिटर को आपको मुख्तलिफ इश्यूज के बारे में लिखना पड़ेगा. सपोज नॉइज पोल्यूशन एक इश्यू है, सिमिलरली ड्रग मैनेस एक इश्यू है, COVID behavior जो है, COVID appropriate behavior nowadays it's a hot topic obviously. Then you have to make sure that you write a letter to the editor drawing his attention towards the silly attitude of people towards maintaining the COVID protocol and then putting themselves in danger. Just ask him to highlight this issue in the prestigious columns of his newspaper. Similarly, we have dog menace, one more issue. Corruption is the issue. Electricity frequently getting cut, that also is the issue. Menace of begging is one more issue that is eating into the vitals of our society. There are different cramming among the students is one more issue. There are so many issues that you can raise through the editor's columns. Now the question is that how to write that letter in the to the editor. उसके लिए मैं आपको बताऊं, you have to write the sender's address. You have to write the sender's address. That means आप कहाँ से लिख रहे हैं, and then you have to have a space and then you will write the date and then you will write the inside address. Inside address का मतलब जैसा आप नोट में भी देख सकते हैं, inside address means the person whom you are writing to. Suppose you are writing to the editor, first letters capital, comma, Greater Kashmir, first letters capital, next line में comma, उसके बाद Residency Road and then Srinagar and then the pin. This will be the inside address. After that, you will write the subject. And in the subject, you will highlight the issue. Suppose nuisance of noise pollution, a problem of begging at public places, and then you will write the brief salutation, dear sir or dear editor, and then you will start the main body. Remember that when you talk of letters to the editor, you have to have a formal parliamentarian language. You can't afford to write, the casual, the slang expressions. You have to write the formal expressions. You have to make sure that you have to use open forms. You can't use the stuff like I'm hunky-dory. You have not to get any close, any emotional, any personal with that official. You have to make sure that you are just following the protocol of formal English, nothing extra to be written, be to the point, do not ask for any hal chal, use a polite and a friendly tone, a soft tone. The words have to be formal, the expressions have to be purely formal and parliamentarian. With deep-seated regards, I would like to state, use polite modals like would, may, could you please, would you please, I would like to ask you, I would like to inform you. These are the ways where you can form the main body of the formal letter. Make sure that after you start the letter, you make sure that you have got the issue highlighted in the very first few lines. पहले ही 2-3 lines में अपने इस issue को highlight करना है और उसके बाद you have to support that with logical arguments. You are complaining against a problem, but you must have surveyed and analyzed that problem in toto, and then only will you be able to convince the editor that this issue has to be highlighted in the prestigious columns of his or her newspaper. Therefore, आपको बाज़ाबिता तौर लॉजिकल बनाना है अपनी मेन बॉडी को. अगर नॉइज पोल्यूशन है तो why is it a menace? Yes, you can say that it is disturbing the students who are preparing for exams. Yes, you can say that it is disturbing the people who are trying to take rest, especially the old, the aged, the sick. Yes, you can say noise has no appeal for human heart and human mind, and therefore psychologically it depresses us, it demeans us, it humiliates us within, it makes us uncomfortable, as restless as a cat on a hot tin roof. It has nothing appealing to us. And you can write that those people who are shouting hymns and big speeches on the big buzzing mics in the holy place of worship, you can ask them, doesn't God listen in silence? Therefore, the argument has to be very strong and smart. Editor will look into these issues and decide whether I have to have this letter in my newspaper or not. You have to convince and motivate the editor for the fact that what you are asking is really genuine and worthy to be put in those prestigious pages. Therefore, in that scenario, आपकी जो main body होनी चाहिए, that should be very well crafted. इसमें भी मैं आपको बताना चाहूँगा कि आपको letter लिखने से पहले ideas जमा करने चाहिए. पीछे जाके एक अलग से पेज या 2-3 पेजेस पे आपको रफ वर्क करना चाहिए कि what all can I accumulate, what all ideas can I gather and assemble from my mind and jot down in the form of the main body. Because बहुत ही important है कि main body बड़ी creative और logical होनी चाहिए. अगर पैरा करने की जरूरत हो तो पैरा जो है पैरा करते वक्त, by the way, why do we do paras? I have told you, we do a paragraph because we want to change the thought. And when you want to change the thought, पैरा क्या अक्सर किया करते थे, सेंटेंस के बीच में नेक्स्ट लाइन पे बीच से हम मिडिल से स्टार्ट करते थे. नो, द नेक्स्ट लाइन हैज टू बी फुली लेफ्ट अलोन एंड देन द पैरा शुड स्टार्ट फ्रॉम द मार्जिन लाइन ऑफ द नेक्स्ट लाइन. यानी कि मार्जिन लाइन जो है उसके साथ अलाइनमेंट पे नेक्स्ट लाइन से पूरी लाइन, नेक्स्ट वाली जो है लाइन खत्म होने के बाद जहां पे पैरा करना है नेक्स्ट लाइन पूरी छोड़नी है और थर्ड लाइन से फिर आपको स्टार्ट करना है नया पैरा. और उसके बाद once you are done with that, then you will obviously go back and then you go for the complementary close. Obviously yours obediently, yours sincerely should be the words. If it's a blood relation, then yours affectionately, yours brotherly, yours sisterly. These are the words that you can use. Sincerely is a safe word, safe complementary close, and then after comma once again you can write the name and other necessary details. This is how we make a letter beautiful, a letter to the editor. These are the things that we need to keep in mind, my dear friends, when we talk of letters to the editor. So this is an important item, and this is something that that is going to be surely asked in your exams. Make sure that you have got at least 10-15 letters with you under control. जो नोट मैंने आपके लिए बनाया है उसमें बहुत सारी letters होंगी और आपको उन letters को study करना पड़ेगा. When you study those letters, then you will accumulate a lot of ideas, especially the letters that are related to the current context of our society. That is something which we can expect from the examiners to put in the question papers this year. But I'm very sure that if the letter is written with proper planning, you can have the ruler with you on that day, and the beauty of the letter also will matter a lot in terms of the awarding of the marks to you, my dear friends. The beauty, the presentation of the letter, that carries a lot of weightage and impact when it comes to marking the exams of English. So we move forward and we discuss the rest of the skills that are present in the writing skills. Stay there. और अब जो हमारे पास writing skill आने वाली है, that is also very vital, and that writing skill we have to understand from the marks point of view as well as from the content point of view. मार्क्स गेनिंग पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू के लिए भी बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट है और बड़ा क्रूशल है, और फॉर फ्यूचर ऑल्सो, बिकॉज एज आई टोल्ड यू दैट वी आर फोकसिंग ऑन स्किल्स एज पर द न्यू पैटर्न ऑफ द सिलेबस दैट हैज बीन स्पेसिफाइड फॉर इंग्लिश. तो इसमें लेटर राइटिंग जो है ऑब्वियसली दैट इज ऑल्सो गोइंग टू यू हेल्प यू फॉर लाइफ. एंड सिमिलरली इन द मॉडर्न डे सेटिंग्स एक चीज जिसके साथ आपके बहुत ही क्लोज रिलेशंस हैं, especially when we talk of the corporate world, and that thing is directly or indirectly related to us all, and that is how can we draft an advertisement. Now the question is, when we talk of advertisements, we have first of all to understand what is an advertisement. That is the first thing that we need to know. What is an advertisement, and what are the different things that we require to draft a very good advertisement. मैं आपको बताना चाहता हूँ कि advertisement, as you know, or rather might be knowing, it is the promotion of a product. It is the promotion of a brand or a product, or sometimes some sales that are promoted with the interest in mind, with the monetary interest, the business interest in mind. And that's why we promote those products. Now the question is that how many types of advertisements do we have? We have two types of advertisements. We have commercial ads and we have classified ads. तो कमर्शियल एड्स जो है वो एड्स हैं जो न्यूज़पेपर का बेशतर हिस्सा, the majority of the space of the newspaper is taken by the commercial ads. Or when we talk of the commercial ads, we talk of the products, and then the colorful sketches, and then those salient features, and then what are the different schemes that are attached, what are the different offers, and we use different fonts and different sizes and shapes, and then we make sure that it is very attractive, it has got a wonderful outlay. तो ये जो कमर्शियल एड्स होते हैं उनमें स्पेस बड़ी होती है, और उसी हिसाब से वी मेंशन ऑल दोज इम्पॉर्टेंट थिंग्स. लास्ट में हम डीलरशिप वगैरह के बारे में भी बताते हैं कि हु आर द ऑथराइज्ड डीलर्स. सपोज यू आर सेंडिंग आउट अ कमर्शियल एड फॉर अ रेफ्रिजरेटर और फॉर अ टूथपेस्ट और फॉर अ पेन. Obviously, you mention the title, and then you have the byline, then you have the punchline, and then you have those features, the customer friendly features, and then you make a sketch also, a drawing also of that thing that you are going to send out as a product for advertisement. And then in the end, if you have got some offers also, like a Diwali offer or a Holi offer or an Eid offer, those festival offers, you just write them and draft them so that more and more customers come and have that product, and then ultimately you have the authorship and the dealership and the authorized dealership details, that is written at the end, in fact towards the bottom of that page. But जो advertisement मेरे हिसाब से आपके लिए फेवरेट है इस एग्जाम को लेके, that is classified ads. Classified ads जो है, they are the ads which take a small space of the newspaper. One more thing, they are normally huddled up on page 2 of the newspaper. अगर आप न्यूज़पेपर घर लाएंगे तो आप पेज 2 पे, या कोई खास स्पेसिफिक पेज होता है न्यूज़पेपर ने स्पेसिफिक किया होता है फॉर द क्लासिफाइड एड्स. तो उन क्लासिफाइड एड्स में डिफरेंट चीज़ें जो हैं वो दी जा सकती है, लाइक यू कैन हैव वेकेंसीज, सिचुएशन वेकेंट, सिचुएशन वांटेड, टू लेट, इसी तरह से प्रॉपर्टी फॉर सेल, इसी तरह से यू हैव सम rooms for hiring, and similarly you have plots on sale, you have cars on sale, those sorts of ads, you have missing notices, you have obituary notices in the classified ads. तो दो किस्म के जो advertisements हैं classified ads जिन पे हमारा फोकस रहेगा, because I consider that they are going to be the hot favorites for this year's examination, and those two advertisements have got to do with two situations: situations vacant and situations wanted. In situations vacant, obviously you are seeking someone for a particular post. आप किसी पोस्ट के लिए किसी बंदे को चाहते हैं, और आप एज ए बॉस और एज ए हेड चाहते हैं, एज ए इंस्टीट्यूशन आप अपने इंस्टीट्यूशन के लिए, अपनी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के लिए या कंपनी के लिए किसी बंदे को चाहते हैं, और उसके बाद आप अपनी डिटेल्स जो है वो स्पेसिफाई करते हैं. और सिचुएशन वांटेड जो है उसमें आप खुद एक एम्प्लॉई है, और आप एक डिग्री होल्डर है, या आप एक ऐसे इंसान है जिसको कोई खास स्किल है, कोई खास एक्सपर्टीज है, और आप अपने आप को ऑफर करते हैं टू गेट एब्जॉर्ब्ड इन एनी कंपनी, और आप भी अपनी कंडीशंस और टर्म्स जो हैं वो सामने रखते हैं. Therefore, we'll focus on these two important parts in this capsule. The first one is you have to write wanted. This is an important word, wanted or required. This is for the classified ad. Wanted a physics teacher, wanted a chemistry teacher, wanted a salesman, wanted a PN. जो भी आपकी requirement हो, so you will start it with wanted, and then important things that you will take care of will be the details that you need to have, that is the qualification status, the experience जो आप चाहते हैं, I mean to say the eligibility that you have set for that particular person to get absorbed. Similarly, the experience that a person needs to have. Similarly, the name of the post you have to mention, यानी कि आपने कौन सा post जो है वो advertise किया हुआ है, and what are the number of vacancies that you have. How many people are you going to take in that particular post, and what are the essential requirements and personal traits, the age factor, the company and organization and the institution name that has to be mentioned, कि आप किस company के साथ वाबस्ता हैं, किस organization या institution के आप साथ आप linked हैं, और what should be the mode of application. Should it be email, should it be post, or should it be the courier? These are the important things that you need to clarify when you send out an advertisement for situation wanted. Let us see a few samples and get the clear idea of how it's going to be. आपको एग्जाम में ऐसे क्वेश्चन आ जाएगा, you are Ahmed from Rajbagh, Srinagar. You are a civil engineer and have recently returned from Qatar. You are looking for a suitable job in India. You have to draft an advertisement for the same in about 50 words. Give necessary details. So obviously this is not situation vacant. This is situation wanted. That means आप एक सिविल इंजीनियर हैं, आपके पास एक्सपर्टीज है, आपके पास एक्सपीरियंस है, आप अपने आप को और अपने टैलेंट को जो है वो आप ऑफर कर रहे हैं फॉर एनी कंपनी. नाउ द हेडिंग विल बी सिचुएशन वांटेड, एंड देन सी how you can sum your thing up in 50 words. A BTech civil engineer from NIT Srinagar with 3 years factory construction site experience. Therefore, this is important. You are mentioning your experience. What experience do you have for qualifying for that important post? If anyone would like to take you, he would obviously see whether the person whom I am taking does have the experience, and you are showing that you have experience, you are showing that you have passed out from a prestigious institution, that's NIT Srinagar, you are showing that you are a degree holder, that you are a BTech civil engineer, you are showing the number of years that you have as experience, and you are also showing that in what capacity have you worked. you have worked as a manager and shift manager, and you are seeking a suitable job in India. Remuneration required is negotiable. आप ये भी mention करते हैं कि जो remuneration होगी, जो मेरी salary होगी, that can be negotiated. Therefore, you are not giving any exact details of how much are you expecting. आप बोलते हैं negotiable, जितना ही negotiate हो जाएगा वहाँ both the parties will see how much do I deserve and how much can they pay. Accordingly, we can negotiate on that. And then intending employers may contact me on. आप ऑब्वियसली देते हैं डिटेल्स के जो एम्प्लॉयर्स चाहते हैं कि वो मेरी सर्विसेज ले सकते हैं, जो इंटेंड करते हैं, हु डिजायर टू टेक माई सर्विसेज और हु आर इन अ माइंड टू टेक माई सर्विसेज, दे मे कॉन्टैक्ट मी ऑन दिस ईमेल और दे मे फोन मी ऑन दिस नंबर. देयरफॉर What did you see in this sample? आपने क्या देखा? आपने देखा सबसे पहले सिचुएशन वांटेड है क्योंकि आप बंदे हो जो टैलेंट रखता है और आप अपने आप को ऑफर कर. जब आप अपने आप को खुद ऑफर करें तो ऑब्वियसली यू विल राइट द एडवर्टीजमेंट इन द फॉर्म ऑफ सिचुएशन वांटेड. और जब आप किसी को अपॉइंट करना चाहें तो उस वक्त योर एडवर्टीजमेंट विल बी अंडर सिचुएशन वेकेंट. ये सिचुएशन वेकेंट नहीं है, ये सिचुएशन वांटेड है. आप अपने आप को ऑफर कर रहे हैं, आप डिग्री अपनी मेंशन कर रहे हैं, आप ये मेंशन कर रहे हैं कि आपने किस इंस्टीट्यूशन से वो डिग्री हासिल की है, आप ये मेंशन कर रहे हैं कि आपको कितने साल का तजुर्बा है, आप ये मेंशन कर रहे हैं कि आप की एक्सपीरियंस जो है वो इन व्हाट कैपेसिटी है, आप ये मेंशन कर रहे हैं कि आपने वो एक्सपीरियंस कहां से हासिल की है, आप ये मेंशन कर रहे हैं कि जो रिम्यूनरेशन है, जो सैलरी पैकेज आपकी है वो एग्जैक्ट है, फिक्स्ड है कि आप वो नेगोशिएट कर सकते हैं. आप ये मेंशन भी करते हैं कि जिन एम्प्लॉयर्स को मेरी सर्विसेज चाहिए वो मुझे इन फोन नंबर पे या इस ईमेल पे जो है कांटेक्ट कर सकते हैं. Therefore, in this case, you have covered almost everything in this advertisement, and this part will be the advertisement that will be for classified ad, and this will carry 4 to 5 marks for your examination. Absolutely easy, एब्सोल्युटली सिंपल. कल को एग्जाम में बीटेक सिविल के बदले कुछ और कैपेसिटी होगी, ऑलमोस्ट यही डिटेल्स लिखनी है, लेकिन कोशिश करनी है कि वर्डिंग जो होगी वो ऑब्वियसली इन ट्यून विद द डिमांड आपको लिखनी है. यहाँ पे सिविल इंजीनियर ऑब्वियसली वर्क करेगा एज ए शिफ्ट मैनेजर. वहाँ पे अगर आप सपोज एक एमएससी फिजिक्स होल्डर हैं तो कल को आप बता सकते हैं कि आई हैव विद 3 years एक्सपीरियंस एट अ पर्टिकुलर स्कूल और एट अ पर्टिकुलर हायर सेकेंडरी और ए कॉलेज. देयरफॉर accordingly you will make the changes, otherwise the contents are much the same as usual. We move forward. Dear friends, now it's time to move forward and talk about one more writing skill. And this writing skill has got to do with something that we often read from the newspapers, from the magazines, and that is writing an article. तो आर्टिकल के बारे में कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट बातें जो हैं जो यहाँ पे मैंने बोर्ड पे लिखी हुई है आपके लिए, तो इनको समझने की जरूरत है. कुछ वर्ड्स को मैंने अलग कलर में रखा हुआ है बिकॉज दीज वर्ड्स आर द की वर्ड्स इन आर्टिकल राइटिंग. नाउ how do we write an article? That's what is given here. And what are the articles samples that I can send you through the note. But the question is that how to write an article. First of all, what is an article? Sabse pehle, it is a structured and directional piece of writing. A structured piece of writing. That means it's not an anyway piece of writing. It's a structured, you have to structure it, organize it properly. You have to sequence it properly. And then this piece of writing has to be directional. That means you cannot write an article without any solid purpose. You must have a purpose in mind. And that purpose has got to be informing someone, persuading someone, and entertaining the reader. You have to inform the audience that you're addressing, the readers that you're addressing. You can entertain them through your piece of writing, and you can sometimes persuade them also to uphold a particular theory or uphold a particular concept or an idea. Therefore, And article writing is not an easy peasy cup of tea. It is not everyone's cup of tea. Article writing is not everyone's baby. You need to have solid background. You need to have completely organizational attitude and a structural strategy to write an interesting article. Now, what does an article consist of? An article can consist of several paras, and उन पैराज में तीन चीजें होनी चाहिए. It must have a distinct beginning. That means you have to have an interestingly beautiful and beautifully interesting beginning that catches the attention of the reader, that prompts the reader to read through, that makes the reader to believe that this is something worthwhile. I must go through it and reach something meaningful once I conclude this article. It must have a very solid middle part in terms of its contents, and obviously it must have a lovely and meaningful conclusion. By meaningful conclusion, I mean it must have a thought-provoking conclusion. It must be an eye-opening conclusion. It must be something that touches your intellectual schemas, that touches your mental schemas and makes you think differently and makes sure that you are a completely new person once you read that article. You have a new perception, you have a new thought. And that's only possible when you make that article such. Now the question is the format, जिसके बारे में बच्चे अक्सर परेशान होते हैं कि what is the format of writing the article. सबसे पहले you will write the title or heading of the article, और ये टाइटल और हेडिंग जो है ये नॉर्मली सिंगल वर्ड की होनी चाहिए या कभी कभी ये 2-4 वर्ड्स की होती है या फ्रेज की शक्ल में 4 to 6 वर्ड्स में आप ये हेडिंग लिख सकते हैं. सपोज ड्रग अब्यूज अ मेनेस, करप्शन अ टॉर्चर, that is something COVID a catastrophe. ऐसे किस्म के आर्टिकल्स जो हैं हेडिंग्स रख सकते हैं हम इतने वर्ड्स के. उसके बाद उसके नीचे देयर इज अ बायलाइन, और इस बायलाइन में क्या होगा, यू कैन राइट द नेम ऑफ द राइटर लाइक कोविड द कैटास्ट्रफी, और नीचे आप लिखेंगे बाय तुफैल हाजी और बाय द राइटर्स नेम. वंस दैट इज डन, उसके बाद यू हैव टू फोकस ऑन दिस पार्ट, that is the content of the article, जो सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट है. इसमें क्या करना है आपको सबसे पहले इंट्रो पे फोकस करना है. दैट मीन्स यू हैव टू इंट्रोड्यूस द आर्टिकल, यू हैव टू इंट्रोड्यूस द टाइटल, एंड द राइटर कुड प्रोवाइड सम फैक्ट्स or pose a question related to the theme of the article. In order to make the reader very interested, the writer can pose a question. वो इसको इंटरेस्टिंग बनाने के लिए एक क्वेश्चन पोज कर सकता है. सपोज द राइटर इज राइटिंग अबाउट कोचिंग सेंटर्स, ही कैन स्टार्ट लाइक दिस, डू कोचिंग सेंटर्स कोच और चोक? So that is the question, the big question, to get the reader into your article. Therefore, something that makes the reader get drawn towards the article, that is something that the writer has to think of. He can pose a question, or he can present a historic fact, or he can start with a story, और ऐसी स्टोरी जिसका थीम के साथ रेलेवेंस और रिलेशन हो, सो दैट दिस बिकम्स अ वंडरफुल रीडिंग एक्सपीरियंस. एंड देन द थिंग दैट द एग्जामिनर विल ऑब्वियसली लुक फॉर is your expression. How do you express your ideas? Because ultimately ideas alone will not work. You have to have proper expression. और उस expression के लिए you need this, that is grammatical accuracy. You should be grammatically alert, you should be grammatically clinical. You cannot use grammatically incorrect sentences, because the reader obviously will look for a clean context, a clean text in terms of grammatical accuracy. Your English has to be on the dot, and the structures of English that you use have to be grammatically sound. Therefore, grammatical accuracy is very important. And then you must have coherence and relevance of ideas. That means आपके ideas जो है वो आब रवां की तरफ flow करने चाहिए. They must be coherent. There must be coherence and cohesion among the sentences. आप एक sequence के साथ आगे बढ़ने चाहिए. You should not, put the cart before the horse. You have to put the horse before the cart. That means you have to make sure that the right thing is at the right place. That is what is looked for when we talk of article writing coherence, and the ideas that you use have to be relevant. You can't beat about the bush. आप just ऐसे करते हैं कि वहाँ यहाँ की बातें जो है वो कर लेते हैं. That is not to be done. You have to make sure that whatever ideas you accumulate, whatever facts you produce, or whatever things you include, they have to be quite relevant and to the point. They must be appropriate spelling and wording. That means right spellings and right words to be chosen. इसलिए vocabulary also is very important. And then the words which you write have to be spelled correctly. That also will hold the key. And we move forward. Then in the description of the topic, when you describe the article, obviously you have to talk about what are the causes of a problem, what are the effects, what are the advantages, what are the disadvantages. You must have analyzed the topic very well before writing an article. आप कोई भी ऐसी चीज़ नहीं लिख सकते जो चीज़ बिल्कुल unethical हो, जो चीज़ verifiable ना हो. Therefore, your facts should be verifiable because you are addressing the public. Your language should be parliamentarian. You can't just write verbose vocabulary. आप बहुत ही ज़्यादा कठिन idiomatic phrasal language लिखते हैं जो किसी को समझ ही नहीं आती. Therefore, whatever words that you choose have to be very lucid, to the point, appropriate, and they should be reader friendly. That means the reader should find comfortable in terms of its meaning and its purpose. So ending जो है इसमें आपको अपनी views, अपना criticism और अपनी suggestions. Obviously you are writing the article, therefore you have a right to express your opinion, your views, and if you have constructive criticism, जिसको हम बोलते हैं उर्दू में तनकीद बराई तामीर. Therefore, one is criticizing for the negative, with a negative intention. Another is criticizing for the betterment. And that criticism you can always include in the article, and your views can be shared if they are valuable. And when you talk of conclusion में आप एक desire जो है, एक डिज़ायर एस्टैब्लिश करेंगे कि मेरी क्या ख्वाहिश है, क्या होना चाहिए, बिकॉज देयर इज ऑलवेज अ कॉन्ट्रडिक्शन बिटवीन व्हाट इज एंड व्हाट शुड बी. सो आप एक डिज़ायर करेंगे एक्सप्रेस, या यू विल एक्सप्रेस अ वार्निंग. मे बी इफ यू आर राइटिंग एन आर्टिकल ऑन द एनवायरनमेंट, यू विल ऑब्वियसली हैव अ वार्निंग सिग्नल गिवन टू एवरीवन. इफ we don't save nature, nature will refuse to save us. If we don't take care of the nature will stop taking care of us. A sort of a warning that that you can sound, and as a human being you can also make an appeal. Therefore, that's what we call structured. You introduce a topic, you highlight the cause and effects, then you color it up with proper expression, you use correct grammatical structures and sentences, you make sure that the choice of words is apt and appropriate, you move towards the ending, and you make sure that the ending has got good views shared, good criticism, healthy criticism, constructive criticism. You jot down your suggestions for the betterment. Ultimately, the purpose is betterment, and when you conclude, you express either a desire or an appeal to the public. Therefore, all in all, this is called organizational unit of writing when we talk of article writing. A piece of writing that is structured, that is directional, that is purposeful, and that is written with absolute transparency and beauty of content and expression. We move forward. Now, dear friends, there is one more item that you will be asked in this capsule, that is speech writing. Now, speeches are normally those pieces of writing. In fact, speeches have got to do with the spoken part, the verbal part. It is the verbal communication. Now, what all can be taken care of when we write a speech? First of all, what is a speech? It is an effective way of conveying a message to a large audience with the purpose of spreading awareness. आपका मकसद होता है आप awareness spread करें, आप मुख्तलिफ social issues को related के relate awareness spread करें, कोई information देना चाहें about some important issues. That is why speeches are conducted, speech competitions are had. You want to spread awareness. Ultimately, your purpose is not having bread and butter alone. Your purpose is to live as wonderful, responsible, beautiful humans on the planet. And therefore, under those circumstances, you need a proper awareness attitude, and that can only be guaranteed through different activities. One of those is going for a speech. Now, in the introduction, जब हम speech करते हैं, सबसे पहला part जो है, that is how do you greet the guests. You obviously will have a chief guest, you will have guests of honor, you will have the audience, you will have eminent people there. Therefore, as we start the speech, we obviously start with greeting the guests and audience. We announce the topic. मुझे आज किस चीज़ पे लब कुशाई करने का मौका मिला है, और उसके बाद यू हैव एन इंटरेस्टिंग स्टार्ट देने के लिए यू कैन यूज सम वर्सेस फ्रॉम द पोएट्री. You can use some quotations. You can start with an interesting story or an incident or an anecdote so that the audience gets awestruck, the audience gets mesmerized, and you feel that yes, the audience is under your fold and you have got that hypnosis over each one present in the audience. Then you expose your topic. And how do you do that? You build up a sequence of ideas, evidences, examples. You just can't speak cock and bull stories there. You have to make sure that you support and you supplement your speech with the right set of ideas, right set of proofs, right set of examples. You have to draw up arguments against the topic. You have to make sure that what are things in favor of the topic and what are things against the topic. You are talking about mobile phones, use and abuses. You are delivering a speech. You must have clear idea कि मोबाइल फोन्स कहाँ कहाँ बड़े यूजफुल हैं और मोबाइल फोन्स कहाँ कहाँ बड़े नुकसानदेह हैं. You must know the topic very well. You must have studied the topic well. You have to paint verbal pictures. You have to personalize and dramatize events. आपको एक बात को personalize करके पेश करना है, dramatic अंदाज़े पेश करना है. आपका जो टोन होना चाहिए, पिच होना चाहिए, वो बहुत ही मज़ेदार होना चाहिए अगर आप अपनी ऑडियंस पे एक इंप्रेशन जमाना चाहते हैं. Therefore, आपका स्पीच पार्ट जो होना चाहिए, it has to be dramatized. You have to make it absolutely magical. You have to do a sort of hypnosis. You have to arrest the attention of each one present in the audience, and you have to summarize when you move forward. Most important points जो भी हैं उनको आप रिपीट करें बगैर समराइज करेंगे. जिस चीज़ पे आपको फोकस करना है, उस पर स्ट्रेस करना है, उसको लास्ट में जो ही आप स्पीच वाइंड अप करेंगे उन पे वापस एक रिवीजन करेंगे. लेकिन ऑडियंस को लगना नहीं चाहिए कि वो रिपीट हो रहा है, लफ्ज अलग होने चाहिए. एंड देन व्हेन यू टॉक ऑफ कंक्लूजन, यू हैव टू कंक्लूड विद द कॉल फॉर एक्शन एंड अपील, एक वार्निंग या कोई अपील या कोई रिक्वेस्ट या कोई जस्ट अगर वो चीज़ें ना हो तो आप एक वर्ड ऑफ थैंक्स से ही कंक्लूड कर सकते हैं. एंड देन फॉर्मेट की अगर बात की जाए, ऊपर स्पीच का हेडिंग ये ऑप्शनल है. दैट मीन्स आर्टिकल में आप हेडिंग दें और टाइटल दें, दैट्स ए मस्ट. बट स्पीच में ज़रूरी नहीं है कि आप टॉपिक का ऊपर हेडिंग का जो है वो पार्ट लिखें. दैट इज ऑप्शनल. यू कैन राइट दैट, यू कैन नॉट राइट दैट. लेकिन नीचे जो आप स्टार्ट करेंगे, इट हैज़ टू बी स्टार्टेड विद ग्रीटिंग द गेस्ट्स, डिस्टिंग्विश्ड president, esteemed guests of honor, blah blah blah. ऐसे आगे आप बढ़ेंगे. And then you have to have apt, appropriate, precise in a word or two. अगर आपने heading लिखा, वो एक या दो वर्ड में लिखना है. उसके बाद you have to focus on the content part and the expression part. And then when your speech is over, you have to use the words thank you. Thank you for a patient listening, or thank you for being so great and so nice while listening through my speech. Therefore, that is how you can end up a speech. But then once again, जैसे article में content matter करता है, expression matter करता है, कंटेंट और एक्सप्रेशन वहां भी मैटर करता है और यहां पर भी मैटर करता है. स्टार्ट और एंड, दैट इज द पार्ट ऑफ द फॉर्मेट, बट द मेन इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग इज हाउ डू यू ड्रेस अप your piece of writing in terms of your content, your ideas, your facts, your expressions. That is something very important. We move forward, and then we have one more piece of writing that is now asked for exams. In this year's paper it will be there, and that is doing a debate, writing a debate. Now I don't know how many of you have taken part in a debate. In a debate we have obviously two motions. The motion is the same. In fact, we have two parts. One part, one group or one person speaks in favor of that motion, and the other group speaks against that motion. Suppose mobile phone a blessing. One party will say that yes, it's a blessing, and the other party will go against it. It is not. Co-education is a boon or a ban. One party will say it is a blessing, the other party will say no, it is not a blessing, instead it is a curse. Therefore, you have to use absolute creativity in putting forward your argument. We can say that it's an argumentative style of writing that we need to adopt while writing a debate. Now, what's a debate? It is a contest between two speakers or two groups of speakers, and what do they show? They show their skills and abilities. Kis liye? In an argument over the topic. How well do you argue? You must have seen great debaters, on the news channels also. Argument जो होता है वो बहुत ही ज़्यादा लॉजिकल होना चाहिए. सिर्फ शोर मचाने से आर्ग्यूमेंट नहीं बनता. कोई शोर मचाएगा. You must have the argument in terms of logical understanding, and that is the argument that carries weight and that wields influence. Now, it is a persuasive manner of speaking with the aim of converting the view of another person or of the audience to your own point of view. यानी कि आपकी टोन ऐसी होनी चाहिए, पर्सुएसिव, ऐसी मोटिवेशन होनी चाहिए कि जो आपका पॉइंट है, ऑडियंस और लोग जो वहां पे जजेस हैं वो मोटिवेट होने चाहिए ये बात को लेके कि आप ही का पॉइंट दुरुस्त है. दैट मीन्स आपके पॉइंट पे आपको इतनी रिसर्च करनी है, इतने अच्छे आर्गुमेंट्स पेश करने हैं that the persons in the audience feel that yes, this viewpoint is worth sharing, this viewpoint is worth upholding, this viewpoint is worth appreciating. A speaker either speaks in favor of the motion or the speaker may speak against the motion. But the question is that what is the discussion about? That is the speaker's point. वो topic क्या है? Against में क्या points बनेंगे और in favor में क्या points बनेंगे? Obviously, it requires good introduction to grab the audience attention, making stand clear right from the beginning. That means जिस point पे आप हैं, जो stand आपका है, उस स्टैंड को आपको राइट फ्रॉम द बिगिनिंग अपहोल्ड करना है. एक मिनट के लिए भी आपको अपने स्टैंड में लचक या इलास्टिसिटी या फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी नहीं लानी है. यू हैव टू बी एब्सोल्युटली लाइक अ सॉलिड रॉक behind your stand, and you have to tell the audience right from the word go that I uphold this, and I uphold this only. I'm not gonna change my stand, and that is from the beginning. Strong arguments you should have, relevant facts आपके पास होने चाहिए, examples होने चाहिए, और जब आप अपने डिबेट को conclude करें, you must do it with a bang, you must do it with great emphasis. आपके पास एक emphatic attitude होना चाहिए, आपको अपना दबदबा वहां पे जमाना है, और आपके पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू के साथ अगर ऑडियंस पे कोई अग्री ना भी करे, लेकिन आपकी एम्फेसिस ऐसी होनी चाहिए, आपका धमाका ऐसा होना चाहिए, आपकी सर्जिकल स्ट्राइक ऐसी होनी चाहिए कि ऑडियंस जो है वो मजबूर हो जाए आपके पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू को एक्सेप्ट करने के लिए. दैट इज समथिंग, दैट इज द आर्ट ऑफ गुड डिबेटिंग. Formal address has to be made to the chief guest and the eminent people when you start your discussion on the debate. And then once again, I tell you that you have to work on two things. The content has to be logically beautiful and beautifully logical, wonderfully amazing and amazingly wonderful, appropriately artistic and artistically appropriate. And that is how you work for expression and content in a debate. Once again, a lot of analysis, a lot of mind activity needs to be done before you formulate debate. And then obviously once you have put forward your point of view, you can officially and formally put forward your word of thanks. Writing reports So, what are reports basically? A report is a draft that is usually written to give a factual account of an incident or an accident or an event. So, what are the important things that we need to be knowing about a report? Report के बारे में क्या जानना पड़ेगा हमें? सबसे पहला point जो है, when we talk of reports, the report should be factually accurate. I will use, I think, different ink here so that you can take care of the important points. It has to be factually accurate. That means whenever you frame a report, it should be based on facts, you know, because it's a verifiable document. ये ऐसी चीज है जो once you form a report, it has to be factually correct. I mean to say, it should not be challenged in terms of its authenticity. So it has to be factually accurate, and those facts should naturally be capable of being verified, and there should not be any misinformation that would spoil the authenticity of the report. Authenticity means इसकी जो uprightness है, correctness है, इसका जो real होना है, सही होना है, truthful होना है, इस पे कोई आंच नहीं आनी चाहिए. Therefore, whenever you draft a report, the facts that you collect have to be correct. You know, if in a report 2 people have been injured, you're writing that, and on verification it should be 2. It should not be 1 or it should not be 3. That is what I mean by authentication. A report has not to be an essay. बड़ा important point है. ये essay नहीं होना चाहिए जिसमें आप personal information या कोई personal emotions or opinions जाहिर करें. No. That's why we say that a report is not written in the first person. You can't use I and we in a report. Reason being that if you use I, we, you, then it has a bias element in it, that it has got the element of prejudice in it, then it becomes personal, then it becomes partial, and whatever is personal, partial, and biased and prejudiced is not authentic, is not something that the reader can enjoy, because जब भी किसी चीज में ज़ात आ जाती है तो obviously उस चीज की खूबसूरती जो है वो मस्क हो जाती है. So it should not be an essay. You are reflecting your personal emotions, अपने जज्बात की तर्जुमानी कर रहे हैं. The problem has to be looked at with an open mind, without any bias and prejudice. We move forward. It has to be concise. Very important point. Report has not to be lengthy. I mean to say, there cannot be any preludes. आप बड़ी बड़ी introductions देते हैं, फिर आप जैसे essays में main body लिखते हैं, फिर you just divide that main body into different paragraphs and then you move forward with the conclusion, the opinion. That is not to be done. You have to hit the nail on its head. You have to be hitting the bull's eye, targeted points. So whatever is meaningful has to be included. Whatever is not has to be sent off. So the report should be concise, very brief. It should not miss the necessary to be included. लेकिन इतना भी नहीं brief की जो इसका necessary element है वो miss हो जाए. That should not be it. You have to include all what is necessary. It should be clear and objective. The language used should be simple and lucid. You have to choose plain words, lucid words. Language आपकी बड़ी सादा होनी चाहिए. It should be readable and understandable to each Tom, Dick and Harry. Remember, you have to frame a report for public, and when the public will read it, they should feel that yes, whatever we are reading, we are understanding and comprehending at the same time. The language has to be lucid. It should be understandable to all the readers. Avoid pointless words, जैसे आप बोलते हैं basically, actually, finally, undoubtedly. This is called tautology. This has to be avoided. These pointless words have to be avoided, each and every one, etc. Because they add nothing to the message. They can be left out. अगर आप एक न्यूज़ स्टोरी लिख रहे हैं तो फिर आप एक अच्छा कैची टाइटल, अट्रैक्टिव टाइटल देंगे. जैसा न्यूज़ रिपोर्ट पे पढ़ते हैं, न्यूज़पेपर पे एक न्यूज़ रिपोर्ट जो होती है उसके ऊपर जो है सबसे पहले टाइटल होता है, सपोज बॉम्ब ब्लास्ट किल्स 2 इंजर्स 5, unidentified gunmen kill 3 people in Srinagar. Therefore, these are things which you have to write as heading so that the reader hai, he gets drawn towards that report and finds it interesting enough to be read out. Therefore, that is also very important. You can give a catchy title. A present simple tense has to be normally employed for writing titles. तभी मैंने बोला bomb blast kills 2, kills present simple. Saint Joseph celebrates annual day. You know, that is what we call a catchy title. Director education visits schools. You know, if you are writing a news story, you may give a catchy title. We use present simple for the titles. And useful quotes can be used from the people whom you have interviewed. जब आप किसी पर्सनैलिटी को रिफ्लेक्ट करते हैं, रादर रिप्रेजेंट करते हैं, या कोई पर्सनैलिटी वहाँ पे होती है किसी इवेंट पे, तो ऑब्वियसली उसके जो वैल्यूएबल वर्ड्स हैं या कोई कमेंट्स हैं उनको आप इंक्लूड करते हैं टू मेक श्योर दैट यू बैलेंस द रिपोर्ट वेल एंड यू यूज द थर्ड पर्सन लाइक ही शी इट एंड दे. रैप अप द रिपोर्ट क्विकली, जल्दी जल्दी वाइंड अप करो, रीडर को हैंगिंग मत रखो, डू नॉट कीप द रीडर्स हैंगिंग. द एंडिंग ऑफ द रिपोर्ट with a quote or a catchy phrase or a neat summing up. Your summarization of the report should be very beautiful, you know. आपको ये जल्दी जल्दी wind up करना आना चाहिए. Plain use of words, but then you have to wind it up so that the readers don't feel bored at all. Obviously format में date mention करना है, day और name of the reporter जो है, that has to be there on top of the report. Let's look at a sample and you'll come to know about a report sample, and the title will be basically St. Joseph's Higher Secondary School celebrates annual day, and see what the report contains. St. Joseph's Higher Secondary School Baramulla celebrated its annual day with great fervor yesterday. Now see, you are mentioning the important details. Kab ye hua, when a thing happened, what was the thing, where did it happen, when did it happen, who was the person who was basically the important part of that program, what happened in the program, and how did the program end. These are important things that you need to mention. Now see, Basir Ahmad Bhatt was the Deputy Commissioner Baramulla. He was the chief guest for the occasion. That is also very important to know. And और किसने शिरकत की? गैलेक्सी ऑफ एजुकेशनिस्ट वहाँ पे थे, डिग्निटरीज थे, टीचर्स थे, पेरेंट्स थे, चिल्ड्रन थे, विटनेस द ओकेजन. द प्रिंसिपल फादर सेबेस्टियन हेल्ड द गेस्ट, दैट मीन्स द वेलकम स्पीच. ये प्रिंसिपल ने करी एंड प्रेजेंटेड द एनुअल रिपोर्ट. दिस वाज वन मेन थिंग ऑफ दैट एनुअल डे. अ रिपोर्ट वाज presented. Remember, the passive voice has been used, you know. You can see St. Joe's Higher Secondary was celebrated the annual day with great Mr. Basira, but there was the chief guest. A galaxy of teachers were present. The principal presented the annual report. The colorful cultural program was presented. इसकी मैं बात कर रहा था. Passive voice में कुछ sentences use किए जाते हैं. Was presented, you know, verb B plus third form, passive voice. And this was presented by the students of the school, which was duly appreciated. Was plus appreciated. Once again, an example of passive voice by the jam-packed shamiyanas, जहाँ पे shamiyanas भी लगे थे और बहुत ही अच्छा खुशगवार और जोश खरोश वाला माहौल था. The chief guest in his address. Now see, you can't say everything of the program. First क्या हुआ, उसके बाद drama आया, उसके बाद song आया, उसके बाद dance show था. No. That you have not write it one by one what happened. A colorful cultural program. So it makes the report concise. You can't have everything written down what happened from A to Z. Therefore, a colorful cultural program was duly appreciated. And then chief guest, obviously very important, uska mention karna. What did he say in the address? He lauded, appreciated the efforts of the management for keeping aglow the flame lit by Mill Hill missionaries. The persons who set up the institution of St. Joseph's in 1905, they were called Mill Hill missionaries. The missionaries who came and set up this educational plant in the soil of district Baramulla. And he lauded, appreciated the efforts of those. And then now the present managements are just keeping aglow. They are keeping alive that flame of education enlightenment. And they are doing a great service to the people of district Baramulla. In his words, यही मैं बोल रहा था, commas begin. ये जो डिस्ट्रिक्ट कमिश्नर के वर्ड्स हैं, डेप्यूटी कमिश्नर के वर्ड्स हैं, ये वाइंडिंग अप में हमें हेल्प करते हैं. एंड दिस मेक्स रिपोर्ट मोर ब्यूटिफुल. And what did he say? He said that St. Joseph is doing a great justice to the plant of education, and he gave away prizes also to the achievers of the year. and he also gave trophies to the outstanding student of the year. The vice principal, Father Thomas, he also spoke the word of thanks. Who welcomed, who spoke the word of thanks, that is also very important. Who was the main guest there? Similarly, what was the program all about? What all was presented in a summing up that was ultimately given by the report, and the program concluded with the school anthem. देखा जाए तो ऑलमोस्ट प्रोग्राम का जो लेखा जोखा है वो सारा कवर किया है इस रिपोर्ट ने, राइट फ्रॉम बिगिनिंग टिल एंड. देयरफॉर दिस इज हाउ यू कैन सी द लैंग्वेज इज वेरी वेरी प्लेन, एंड देयर इज नो आई एंड वी एंड यू यूज्ड, unbiased, it's impartial, and this report contains almost all the ingredients of a beautiful report writing sample. Dear friends, we have one more topic, in fact writing skill, that is going to be asked to you in your exams. That is about designing posters. Now, posters बनाने में आपको क्या चीज़ चाहिए? What are the important essential requirements for designing a poster? Obviously, poster का जो purpose होता है, it is public awareness regarding any evil, social evil होता है, या कोई event होने वाला होता है, उसके लिए posters लगते हैं. तो या कोई बड़ा फेमस रिलीजियस स्कॉलर आ जाता है, कुछ उसका प्रोग्राम होता है, तो उसके लिए हम पोस्टर्स लगते हैं. तो खासकर जो यहाँ पे पोस्टर्स जो मुझे लगता है एग्जाम के लिए इंपॉर्टेंट है, दैट इज रिलेटेड टू सम अवेयरनेस द पब्लिक. लाइक आजकल कोविड की बात है, तो ऑब्वियसली यू मे बी आस्क्ड टू डिजाइन अ पोस्टर रिगार्डिंग कोविड अप्रोप्रिएट बिहेवियर, यू नो व्हाट पीपल शुड फॉलो एंड व्हाट नॉट टू डू. So, what should be it? Number first, it should be eye-catching, very attractive, and it has to be visually very attractive. It should have a catchy title. जो आप sketch या drawing करेंगे, वो बड़ी simple होनी चाहिए. It's not an advertisement. Poster में आपकी जो sketching होगी, वो rough होगी. That means you don't need to spend a lot of time in, making a shape, drawing a diagram or a picture. It has to be just a rough sketch. But then it has to be representative. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि ये बिल्कुल भी कुछ convey ही ना करे. It should convey something beautiful. And जो आप letters use करेंगे poster में, they should be of different size and shapes. Font जो है वो vary करना चाहिए. There should be proportionate spacing, ample spacing. काफी spacing होनी चाहिए. You cannot huddle up the matter, जिससे poster बड़ा ugly दिखेगा. और content जो है, उस कंटेंट में आपका थीम और आपका सब्जेक्ट जो है, आपका टॉपिक ऑफ द पोस्टर जो है, वो जस्टिफाई होना चाहिए. दैट इज वेयर माय डियर फ्रेंड्स क्रिएटिविटी इज रिक्वायर्ड. जो आपका कंटेंट होना चाहिए, दैट हैज टू बी पर्टेनिंग टू द थीम. और एसेंशियल डिटेल्स जो है, दैट इज कोई चीज कब होने वाली है, कहाँ होने वाली है, डेट, टाइम, वेन्यू, दे शुड बी मेंशन्ड, एंड हु इज इश्यूइंग द पोस्टर, issuing authority or organization, that also should be mentioned. Matter को अच्छा sequence होना चाहिए, organized matter होना चाहिए, और language जो है, that should be very much appropriate. The poster should be very very creative. Let's look at a sample. So this is say no to plastics, and now see, आपको ये अंदाजा आ जाएगा कि हमें पोस्टर बनाना कैसे है. आप देख सकते हैं कि what are the things that we need to take care of when we talk of poster writing. So firstly, it is non-biodegradable. Say no to plastics. When you talk of this no, you can make it big. So non-biodegradable, it causes air pollution. Dumping polybags can pollute our environment, and similarly the toxic chemicals, they can cause cancers. Instead, what should we use? We have solution part also. We should use paper bags, jute bags, cloth bags. So protect the environment and stay healthy. Now you can see मुख्तलिफ किस्म के fonts जो है वो use किए गए हैं, और यहाँ पे जो issuance authority है, that is President Environmental Club, DPS Baramulla. Therefore, it has to be quite simple. You don't need to necessarily make it complex, and that is it for the poster. I can send you some more samples through the notes, so that you can just see and go through those posters, and mostly you have to focus on the theme and the creativity part, you know, kya kya hota hai jab plastic use karte hain. Obviously this is going to aware the public, and not only you are highlighting the problem through the poster, but you are also giving a solution, what next, instead what do we need to use, and you are doing that also. And then the ending line of yours is very important. If you want to stay healthy in a healthy environment, then you are a part and parcel of that. So protect your environment, and then only can you stay healthy. And this is issued by the president of Environmental Club DPS Baramulla. फ्रेंड्स, एक और राइटिंग स्किल जो आपके सिलेबस में रखी गई है, इनफैक्ट ये राइटिंग स्किल सबसे इजी है क्योंकि यू हैव जस्ट फ्रेशली डन इट इन क्लास 10th. इट्स जस्ट अबाउट राइटिंग नोटिसेस. नाउ notice is a piece of information that is normally sent out to a specific target audience, or sometimes to the public in general, and the purpose is that it should be read, it should be understood, and obviously it should be followed. इसको पढ़ना है, उसके बाद इसको समझना है, और इस पे जो लिखा गया है, that obviously has to be followed. So there are some important points that we can take care of when we write a notice. कुछ points हैं, like we have to mention the word notice, then the format of the notice, and then the mentioning of the date, and the brief salutation. And then हम जब notice की बात करते हैं तो सबसे पहले एक ख्याल रखना है हमें, वो ये है कि we are not writing in first person. I, you, we का इस्तेमाल नहीं करना है, because that will make it we have to be very impersonal. We have to use he, she, it वगैरह. उसके साथ साथ नोट्स की लैंग्वेज जो है वो बड़ी सिंपल होनी चाहिए, ल्यूसिड होनी चाहिए, अंडरस्टैंडेबल होनी चाहिए. उसके साथ साथ जो हमारे वेन्यू है, कहाँ से कोई चीज़ होने वाली है, कब होने वाली है, डेट, टाइम, वेन्यू, ये डिटेल्स जो है ये बड़े क्लियर होने चाहिए. देयर शुड बी नो कन्फ्यूजन इन द देयर शुड बी नो कन्फ्यूजन एंड in the script, in the matter of the notice. Information में कोई confusion नहीं होना चाहिए. It has to be clear and understandable to each one. Similarly, the choice of words that you make has to be very simple, understandable, readable, and then you have to make sure that you are mentioning the name of the sender, and then the designation also. You have to make sure that you don't go beyond the word limit of the notice. That also, you know, from 10th level you have to be within the word limit. हमारे पास एक example है यहाँ पे writing a notice. आप देखिए हम कैसे ये लिख रहे हैं. Now the notice is being issued from St. Joseph's Higher Secondary School Baramulla, and this is the notice in capital. Then the notice is basically about a debate competition. So this subject can be written, and you can eliminate also this, no problem. CBSE pattern में ये लिखा जाता है, और normal patterns में ज़रूरत नहीं लिखने की, लेकिन लिख सकते हैं. अगर आप notice ही लिखेंगे बड़ा तो अंडरलाइन करके लिखेंगे, और कौन सी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन से आप वाबस्ता है तो वो ऊपर आपको लिखना है इन कैपिटल. एंड देन यू हैव टू मेंशन द डेट. दैट्स वेरी क्रूशियल. एंड नाउ सी, यू आर यूजिंग द इनफैक्ट यहाँ पे आर जो है इट्स मिसिंग. ऑल द स्टूडेंट्स ऑफ क्लासेस 11th and 12th आर इन्फॉर्म्ड. नाउ दिस इज पैसिव वॉइस. Once again, passive voice का इस्तेमाल कर सकते हैं, that an NGO, namely the Dawn, is conducting a debate on the topic. Topic क्या है debate का? Should violent video games be banned? It is happening on this day, on this date, and at this time, and here. These are very important details. कहाँ होने वाली है कोई चीज़, कितने बजे होने वाली है, किस डेट को होने वाली है, वेन्यू क्या है, वक्त क्या है. Or in this connection, 2 debaters from the school shall be taken after due trials. Trials ली जाएंगी, और 2 debaters can be taken, and those persons who are interested in participating in the same can register themselves with the undersigned. Undersigned means the person who is the head boy here, and by or before. कब तक आपको registration करनी है? Moreover, all the students are expected to attend the same as audience. Sahil is the person who is sending out the notice, and he is writing his designation also. He is doing it in the capacity of a head boy. So this is the format of the notice. Very, very easy. I guess it should not be a big deal for you. Now we have one more writing skill. This is also something which we have been doing since 9th, and it's about electronic mail, the email that we call. What are the things that we keep in mind when we write an email? Obviously, it is the short form of electronic mail, and it is preferable to draw the email page on the computer. जब आप email बनाएं तो जैसे आप email computer screen पे देखते हैं from to date time subject cc, बिल्कुल आप वैसे पैटर्न पे लिख सकते हैं. उसके बाद compose mail होता है एक डब्बा. तो these are the details. कहाँ से और यहाँ पे आपको लिखना है you have not write the name, you have to write the email ID from Haji Tufail at gmail.com to उसका ईमेल आईडी किस वक्त और कब ये हुआ है शुड बी. वैसे कंप्यूटर्स पे तो ये नेचुरल जनरेटेड होता है, स्पॉन्टेनियसली जनरेट होता है, किस टाइम हुआ, किस डेट हुआ, लेकिन यहाँ पे आपको लिखना पड़ेगा. और उसके बाद व्हेन वी टॉक ऑफ ईमेल इट हैज टू बी ब्रीफ. नाउ लेटर, मैसेज और ईमेल. Letter is a bigger format, and then we have a message a little smaller, and then we have the shortest format, that is the email. 2 या 3 lines में या ज़्यादा से 4 lines, depending on the message that you are going to communicate. It has to be brief, short. और इसको short बनाने के लिए जो तरीका है, that is we can use the contracted forms, I plus will, I'll, will, you'll, he'll, she'll, it'll. Similarly, is plus not, isn't, aren't, can't, shan't, mustn't, shouldn't, wouldn't, won't, blah blah blah. And fragments can be used. Like आपको लिखना था I congratulate you on your brilliant success in NEET. Now I can write only hearty congrats. That is what we call a fragment. Yes, no, of course, where is my treat. छोटे छोटे जो parts हैं, branchlets हैं, वो आपको include करने हैं. And short expressions to make email short. We even omit the personal pronoun. वहाँ पर भी I और understood verb हम खत्म कर सकते हैं. That means आपको लिखना था email में I am going to Srinagar tomorrow, आप लिख सकते हैं going to Srinagar tomorrow. That means I को खत्म किया और understood verb. जब आपने लिखा going to Srinagar tomorrow, it is understandable to the person who is reading your mail that you are going to Srinagar the next day. So that is what is to be taken into mind, into consideration. So this is an email to your cousin, who has lost his or her pet, and you are just condoling your cousin on the death of his or her pet. Dear Sam, heard about Tommy's shocking go. That means I heard about the shocking death of Tommy. Now Tommy is the pet's name. Therefore, the pet, Tommy's shocking go. Go means death. Felt bad. यहाँ पे understood verb, I understood subject, I omit हुआ है. I felt really bad. You have lost an amiable. You have. This is a contraction form. That means you have lost an amiable, a charming, a loving friend. Anyways, this is life. Last की lines जो हैं बड़े compromising lines हैं, बड़े neutralizing lines हैं. I'm this life, ये तो जिंदगी है. इंसान नहीं बचते तो जानवर कहाँ बचेंगे? Cheer up. Come on now, don't take it too much to your heart. Cheer up, have a big, broad, booming smile on your face and get a new one. That is the solution that you're giving through this email to the person who has lost an amiable friend in the form of a pet, and then you write your name. So, 2-3 lines में ये email लिखा जा सकता है. I think this is one of those items that you should not feel so much, nervous about, and this is something which you can do jiffy, because now that modern day generation is very good at the chit chat, and very good at informal use of language also, when we exchange our ideas and thoughts to our friends and kith and kin. Therefore, I think email writing should be something that should be in your kitty, and writing skills, I feel that you have got enough in you to get hold of when you face them in the examination. Friends, section C, let me give you the brief outlay of this section C. You will have 30 marks in section C. This is pertaining to your books, I mean to say. इसमें आपकी हॉर्नबिल टेक्स्ट बुक आती है, इसमें आपका स्नैपशॉट्स टेक्स्ट बुक आ जाता है, और उसमें क्या क्या पूछा जा सकता है. सबसे पहला पार्ट जो है, दैट इज इन फैक्ट इट्स ऑल अबाउट लिटरेचर. यू विल बी गिवन ए स्टैंजा ऑफ ए पोएम. जो भी पोएम्स आपके पास हैं, इनफैक्ट तमाम जो हमारी पोएम्स हैं वो तो हमारे हॉर्नबिल टेक्स्ट में ही है. सो आपको एक स्टैंजा दिया जाएगा, स्टैंजा की कुछ लाइंस दी जाएंगी, और नीचे जो होंगे आपको क्वेश्चंस होंगे, बिल्कुल जैसे क्लास 10th में होते थे. ऊपर स्टैंजा की लाइंस थी और नीचे कुछ क्वेश्चंस होते थे, 1 और 2 मार्क्स के क्वेश्चंस pertaining to that stanza. So I would like you to understand the poem thoroughly, read the poem, and जो मैं आपको notes दिया हूँ, उन notes में जो भी poems हैं उनकी समराइजेशन और जो भी उनके स्टैंजा एक्सप्लेनेशंस हैं, that you can go through, and inshallah these 2 marks will be there for you. Only 2 marks will come regarding that. Then we have आपको 6 या 7 क्वेश्चंस आ जाएंगे, शॉर्ट आंसर क्वेश्चंस, जिनमें आपको सिर्फ 5 करने होंगे. और these short answer questions will be from different items of the book, and they can be from snapshots, they can from hornbill. तो जो लेसन स्टडीज़ हैं वो आप अच्छी तरह से करेंगे, समरीज पढ़ेंगे. इट्स नॉट पॉसिबल इन दिस कैप्सूल दैट वी कैन टेक ऑल द बुक्स एंड लेसन्स इनटू कंसिडरेशन. दैट विल टेक अ ह्यूज टाइम, बट देन आई प्रपोज यू टू टेक केयर ऑफ द लेसन्स इन द फॉर्म ऑफ नोट्स. जो समरीज मैंने वहाँ पे बनाई हैं या जो इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चंस जो है मैंने दिए हैं, तो उनको स्टडी करके इंशाल्लाह ये क्वेश्चंस जो हैं 2-2 मार्क्स के आपको आ जाएंगे. छोटे छोटे क्वेश्चंस 5 करने होंगे. दैट विल कैरी योर 10 marks. 10 plus 2 is equal to 12. And then आपको आएंगे 3 long answer questions. तो 3 बड़े questions जो हैं they will be from different books, obviously from hornbill से आ जाएगा, choice आ जाएगी, snapshot से, इसी तरह से long answers जो भी होंगे 120 to 150 marks के, इनके 6 मार्क्स होंगे पर क्वेश्चन. दैट मीन्स 18 मार्क्स जो है. इसके लिए आपको बुक के मैक्सिमम चैप्टर्स जो है वो पढ़ने पड़ेंगे, उनको अंडरस्टैंड करना पड़ेगा, बिकॉज द क्वेश्चन कैन बी पुट ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ थीम ऑफ द लेसन. इससे क्या मैसेज आपकी आ जाती है. सपोज वी हैव अ लेसन द पोर्ट्रेट ऑफ अ लेडी इन द फॉर्म ऑफ लेसन नंबर 1, दैट इज फ्रॉम हॉर्नबिल. वी हैव खुशवंत सिंह, द रिलेशनशिप बिटवीन अ ग्रैंड मदर. आपको क्वेश्चन आ सकता है ग्रैंड मदरली लव पे, the relationship, emotional relationship between a grandson and a grandma. Therefore, a thematic question आ जाएगा, critical appreciation पे question आ जाएगा कि आपने इस lesson में कौन सी understanding ली है, किसी theme को लेके, किसी inference को लेके, कोई conclusion जो है जो आप draw कर सकते हैं. We are all afraid to die if we can, we are not afraid to die if we can live together. That is वो ज़बरदस्त लेसन जो है, लेसन 3 जो हॉर्नबिल का या एड्रेस में अगर आप जाएंगे स्नैपशॉट्स में, एल्बर्ट आइंस्टाइन एट स्कूल. सो इसमें आपको वो ही हेटेड स्कूल, एंड देन आपको क्वेश्चन आ सकता है कि व्हाट आर द थिंग्स दैट कैन मेक स्कूलिंग वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग. एल्बर्ट आइंस्टाइन के बारे में खुद क्वेश्चन आ सकता है कोई. Therefore, these questions will be pertaining to the understanding and comprehension of your whole lesson on the basis of the theme, the inference, the indication, and they can come from both hornbill and snapshots. Therefore, ये जो questions होंगे ये होंगे 3 6 marks वाले questions, long answers हो गए 18, और होंगे 10 क्वेश्चंस जो 10 मार्क्स जो होंगे वो होंगे 5 क्वेश्चंस शॉर्ट आंसर्स के बोथ द बुक से, हो गए 28. और देन वील हैव 1 क्वेश्चन रिलेटेड टू द पोएट्री सेक्शन, दैट विल बी रिगार्डिंग द पोएट्री, एंड दैट विल कैरी 2 मार्क्स. सो वी मूव ahead, and I wish you all the best for your upcoming exams. For any queries and clarifications, I'm always there for you. And I hope that you'll overcome this challenge if it presents itself in this year's examination. All the best. Take care and stay blessed.